Thanks, Chris. Tonight, the NFL's best, the San Francisco 49ers, in their final playoff tune-up, take on the Seattle Seahawks on ESPN Sunday Night NFL. It began as a nightmare of extreme proportions, an opening day loss. Steve Young knocked down and out, his future clouded, and Jerry Rice seemingly done for the season. But the 49ers responded as the champions they once were and again hope to be, winning an NFL best 13 games.
The standards here are such that if you're coming to San Francisco, that means you're about winning. That means you're about winning Super Bowls.
And that road now goes through San Francisco, a path the Niners hope leads to a record 6th Super Bowl title. The Seattle Space Needle in the Great Pacific Northwest, where tonight the Seattle Seahawks host the 13-2 San Francisco 49ers. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. When the San Francisco 49ers named Steve Mariucci as their head coach, a lot of people thought it was a huge gamble. Well, all Mariucci has done is take a great team and make them even better, and he did it without Jerry Rice. He has transformed a finesse passing team into a club that can dominate running the football as well as throwing the football. And the cornerstone of his offense, the great quarterback Steve Young, will wrap up his 6th NFL passing title tonight in 7 years. Let me bring in my partner, Joe Theismann. And Joe, with the home field advantage already wrapped up, the 49ers will not play their starters very long tonight, but that's not going to affect what Seattle has to do.
No, it really won't, Mike. Even though Seattle is not going to the playoffs, this is a very important game for the franchise. Dennis Erickson's job is up in the air, although he believes he'll be back, but management hasn't said anything. And if he can win tonight, it could sure help his chances. Also, if Erickson is back, that means that there's a real good chance that Warren Moon will be back here running this football team. And when I talked to Warren on Friday, I got the distinct impression that whether or not he retired would depend on Coach Erickson returning. If he doesn't, then we might be watching the final game of one of the most prolific passers of all time and a future Hall of Famer.
All right, Joe, we'll have more on that topic throughout tonight. The Seahawks and the 49ers back with the opening kickoff in just 30 seconds. Dennis Erickson, the veteran football coach, Steve Mariucci, the rookie in the NFL, and what different results they've had out of their first season. The 49ers have won the toss. They'll get the football first. Todd Peterson to kick it to Chuck Levy. A dramatic turnaround in his life, getting a chance to play football again, and he's done a terrific job as a return man for the San Francisco 49ers. We are underway in Seattle. Levy from the 3. And dives out near the 30-yard line. San Francisco's offense directed by Steve Young, making a serious bid for a 3rd MVP award. He's thrown 19 touchdowns with only 6 picks. With the injury to Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens has stepped up with career highs in virtually every category. The offensive line much more physical than in the past. Kevin Gogan, the main reason. The 330-pound mauler is on his way to the Pro Bowl. Spotted at the 27, 1st and 10. Terry Kirby with Garrison Hurst out with the injury, gets a carry, and Kirby breaks it across the 45 to the 46-yard line, a gain of 19. He says he wants to be seen as a running back, not just a 3rd down guy.
He really feels like he's finally getting a chance to show what he can do. He's worked real hard, does a nice job of sliding across. Terrific block by Mark Edwards, number 44, the fullback, to spring the hole. And then he squares up and heads north-south.
One play, 19 yards, a dual sport athlete at Virginia. He was a terrific basketball player as well. Young with a short set out in the flat. He's got his first completion to J.J. Stokes in the Seattle territory. Seattle's defense led by a tenacious pass rushing line. Michael Sinclair, #1 in sacks with 10. He's a Pro Bowler for the 2nd straight year. The club's biggest free agent signing, linebacker Chad Brown, as he has become more familiar with the defense. He's produced a team-leading 96 tackles. And Darrell Williams has earned a Pro Bowl start with 8 interceptions this year, #2 in the NFL. One of the many Seattle injuries this season, All-Pro Cortez Kennedy, the defensive tackle. They have been really ripped by the injury bug this year. Wells makes the tackle on Kirby for no gain. Wells, the middle linebacker out of Kentucky.
Mike, with San Francisco's running game, you can afford to play your linebackers a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage because they don't have the ability to bounce up inside and then take a long sweep the end type of run. There's Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator of the 49ers, new this year with Coach Mariucci.
3rd and 2, opening possession of the ball game for the 49ers. Comes the blitz. Young unloads, and Brent Jones makes the catch at the 35-yard line. Jones makes his 417th career catch in his final season as a pro.
And Mike, I think you can take a look at the struggles that the 49ers have had on offense and relate them to Brent Jones not being in. Here he just gets a free release. You get the ball anywhere near him, he has the ability to make plays. No, it's not a perfect pass, but the receiver goes up to make the play.
Jones has been doing that for a dozen years for the 49ers. Another first down, San Francisco. Young on first down, Stokes. Lost the ball. Was he down? He was. That was some grab by J.J. Stokes.
Well, Mike, he's so big. I mean, he's 6'4". There's such great range where Steve Young has an opportunity to put the football. You don't have to throw the ball perfect to somebody that big. They can just go out and grab it out of the air. This is that skinny post they run. He just snatches it in the air. Now, the only question is his knee on the ground when the ball comes out?
Well, from one angle, it looked like his knee was down first.
Hey, listen, after watching that New York Jet game today, I'm not saying anything about officiating.
Young for the end zone. Jones couldn't hold it. He was blasted by Bellamy and Williams, and Jones is down.
They work the middle of the football field. He gets around Wells. The ball is put there. Boy, Bellamy comes in and just does a terrific job. Give him a little harder time down the middle. They don't want to give the wide receivers too much room, and you got to pop them when they get close.
Boy, Bellamy delivered the first hit, and then Darrell Williams finished him off.
And that's just good defensive football. And I really think, Mike, that that's going to be the challenge for Seattle defensively tonight, is going to be able to try and control the middle of the football field. Because I know they're going to be conscious of trying to take those 2 wide receivers away.
Bellamy's really come on since Benny Blades was hurt and he had to play. Let's go back and take a look at J.J. Stokes, the guy that they have been waiting for to become a great player. Let's take a look and see if it's out.
No.
Knee's down.
I think the knee is down. It's close enough to go the right way, and that was the way for San Francisco to keep the football. Steve Mariucci, his new head coach of the 49ers, didn't really want to change a lot. Said he only wanted to change about 15%. And then as the season went on, about 18%, and the veteran players sort of started to call him on it.
While they attend to Brent Jones, we'll break away. We'll be back in a moment.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Travelers Insurance. What we all want, Travelers Insurance provides. Something to hold on to. By Honda, vehicles designed to help simplify your life. And by the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's?
Magnificent downtown Seattle the week before Christmas. 49ers with the football, 2nd and 10 from the 12. Chad Fan is in his tight end. Delay to Edwards. And Edwards wrapped up the 11-yard line. Chad Brown in on the stop along with Daniels. Inside the 20, the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, they've gotten there an awful lot, but only 14th this year. But they do have number 2 in points in the NFL. The last 4 years, Steve Young with a rating over 102. And look, 61 touchdown passes, 4 picks.
The accuracy with which he throws the ball is always the most amazing thing to me.
3rd and 8. Early movement, they'll stop the play. Derek Deese, the left tackle. Step back before the snap. Derek Deese had not played.
Before the snap, false start by the offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, it's still 3rd down.
Deese had not played tackle before this year since junior college.
And Mike, you know, that was the one thing I talked to the offensive linemen yesterday when they had their walkthrough for the 49ers. They said their biggest concern is being able to hear the cadence from Steve Young, because this is where the 12th man started here in Seattle with all the noise.
3rd and 13. Looking for Owens, overthrown. Covered well by Fred Thomas. And the 49ers will have to settle for a field goal.
Mike, that's a big challenge for Fred Thomas. He's 5'9", going up against Terrell Owens at 6'3". Steve Young just wants to put the ball up so that his big guys can make plays on the ball.
With a field goal here, Gary Anderson can tie Nick Lowry for number 1 all-time, 383 career. This will be from 34 yards out. No one has ever kicked more field goals in the NFL now than Gary Anderson. 383 along with Nick Lowry. It's 3-0 49ers. Downtown Seattle, all dressed up for the Christmas season. One of the greatest shopping districts you will ever see. Paul Allen, who bought the ball club from Ken Behring and is the co-founder of Microsoft. Folding money, no problem for Paul Allen, and him buying into the club. Delightful for the people of Seattle. His biggest decision coming up, what to do about the future of that man, Dennis Erickson. They want to hire a high-profile GM, and that usually means they bring in a new coach, but we'll have to see. Broussard from the 10 on the return. Got a good block from Strong, and Steve Broussard down the sideline into 49er territory. Tyrone Drakeford saved a touchdown.
Mike, that's one area that the Seattle Seahawks can certainly use a lift. Their special teams have been extremely disappointing, and that time Dave Arnold got what he wanted from his special teams. It's a good job. Watch the crease. He gets up into the wedge, and that's what you have to do. Hug the wedge. Now let him break a little hole, and you got to hit it in a heartbeat. He does a good job of working up the sidelines, make the kicker miss. Now you look at the wedge guys. They're holding their hands so that they stay a certain amount of distance from one another.
Chris Warren is the single setback. Warren hit in the backfield by Drakeford. He'll lose 5 or 6 yards. Seattle offense led by Warren Moon, having one of his finest years at age 41. He's thrown for almost 3,500 yards. His number 1 target, Joey Galloway, who also has a career-high 66 catches and ranks in the AFC's top 10 in both receptions and yards. The offensive line extremely young. The left tackle, a rookie with only 1 year of major college football. And yet Walter Jones may be the best first-year lineman in the NFL. Warren, nice hold this time. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. San Francisco's top-ranked defense anchored by Dana Stubblefield, trying to become the first defensive tackle ever to lead the NFL in sacks. Linebacker Ken Norton Jr., a master at getting off of blocks, 135 tackles, the 6th time he's been over 100. And Merton Hanks leads a secondary that has 23 interceptions. Hanks has half a dozen, giving him 22 the last 4 years. Bryant Young on the left, Rod Woodson on the right. They are sitting out with injuries. If this was a playoff game, they could have played. 3rd and 10 for Warren Moon. and throws too high to the sideline, trying to hit James McKnight. So Seattle squanders excellent field position on the kickoff return. And Joe, you said Seattle's special teams haven't been very good. That was very kind. They have been absolutely awful.
Well, they've been really the reason why their record is where it is. They should have won at least 3 more football games had they not created problems in their special teams. But I think that 1st and 10 is going to be so critical for Seattle tonight. Like you saw with the big loss did, it allowed San Francisco to dictate them and make them throw for long yardage.
Ron starts to punt to Ahani Owezika. And puts it 7 yards deep into the end zone. A 46-yard kick, but a net of only 26. And not a good job by the punting unit. 3-0 49ers. Brent Jones' night is done. He has suffered a concussion, and the 12-year veteran will sit out the rest of the night. That means Chad Fan is the only remaining tight end. The 5-year man out of Florida A&M, Greg Clark, the rookie, was deactivated before the game. So Fan will have to go the distance. Kirby, stutter step. Sam Adams and Wells were there. This is not the San Francisco offense people have come to know and love over the years. They are running the ball 53% of the time, which is 3rd in the NFL. And I think if you're going to win more Super Bowls, this is something they had to do.
Well, it's the one thing Steve Mariucci wanted to do. I mean, he went out and got Garrison Hurst. They want to keep the defense off the field. They want to be a 2-dimensional offense. They want to protect his star. That's why they're running the ball more.
Young under pressure, throws over the middle, knocked down by Bellamy against Fan. And the reason he wanted to protect Steve Young is because he had suffered all those concussions, and people were talking about his career might be over. And although a guy like Steve Young is so competitive, he's going to resist being protected. But Steve Mariucci's doing everything he can. It's held them under 200 yards a game passing for the first time, but the bottom line is winning, and they're still winning.
It's much more difficult to defend a 2-dimensional offense than it is one. That's why everybody wants to shut down the run.
That's Al Woodall being taken to, or Lee Woodall being taken to the locker room early. Owezika with a catch up at the 36. It'll be a first down. Darrell Williams nailed him, but it's a gain of 16.
Mike, I think what you're going to see tonight from San Francisco is they're going to want to work the ball inside the numbers. Seattle's going to want to take away the 2 wide receivers outside. So whether it's going to be Owezika or Fan down the middle of the football field, that would be the area that San Francisco will want to work against Seattle's defense. Greg McMackin, the defensive coordinator. Well, I got to tell you, he's done a terrific job since he's been here in 3 years. They just get better and better and better.
Young in the flat to Edwards. And Edwards with a tough run down to the 45-yard line. NFL Prime Monday tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico, Tom Jackson, and Sterling Sharp preview the huge Monday night game between the Patriots and the Dolphins. We'll have live reports from Pro Player Stadium. Chris Mortensen with the latest NFL news, and Leslie Visser goes backstage with Dolphin rookies Derek Rogers and Jason Taylor. Tomorrow night, Prime Monday. Seattle, Washington, the site for tonight's Sunday night NFL game. The 49ers on the move inside the Kingdome. Screen to Kirby. Nice play by the backup linebacker, Michael Barber.
Michael, that's something you see. That's Kevin Gogan out there. That's a 330-pound guard out in front of a screen, and that's really one of the areas that the 49ers have added on their offensive line. Ray Brown over 300 pounds, Kevin Gogan over 300 pounds. They've become more of a straight-ahead, zone-blocking type of football team to help out the running game. And you see the big guy get out front throwing himself.
And it's not just a question of size or bulk. Gogan's got an attitude to go with it. 2nd and 5. Young on a little sprint out, throws to Owens. Terrell Owens diving for the first down. This rhythm passing game of the 49ers, when Steve Young is on time, which is 95% of the time it seems, it almost looks unstoppable.
The fact that he's throwing for 68% pass completion to me, Mike, is absolutely an astounding effort in itself. I mean, Brett Favre is a fabulous quarterback. Great candidate again for MVP. I mean, tonight Steve Young is 7 for 10. And, you know, look at the pass completions. Above 70%, 5 games. That's unbelievable.
Remarkable. 3rd and less than a yard. Owens in motion. Kirby diving. I don't think he made it. Looks like they'll spot him a couple of lengths of a football short. Michael Sinclair on the tackle. Mariucci, as a head coach, much looser than both of his predecessors, in fact, George Seifert and Bill Walsh.
Well, he's looser in one regard because he likes to have a little more fun. Bill Walsh and both George Seifert a little more staid in the way they did things. Mooch likes to get out and have a good time, and he realized that this is a football team that enjoys itself. A lot of characters with character on this football team, and he's a head coach that fits that role.
Said his first goal was to be himself. You can't come in at his age and, you know, not be yourself, try to be somebody else, because the players aren't going to buy into it.
That was his #1 goal, be himself. Michael Sinclair makes a play here, number 70. He's on Chad Fan. He goes inside hard and manages to trip up Kirby.
4th and short, the 49ers will go for it. This is a top 10 defense. Kirby should have it. It is really loud in here. This is only the 3rd sellout this year here in Seattle.
Mike, I'll tell you, for Dennis Erickson's defense, it's important to realize that another aspect of San Francisco's offensive line, now with Kevin Gogan at right guard, you have somebody that you can run over in short yardage situation. With a finesse line, it's not that easy. There's big number 66, just creating a hole so that Mark Edwards can go through and then allow Terry Kirby to follow him in. But that's the other aspect that's real subtle. But when that offensive line gets bigger, you then can pound it for short yardage.
And that was really the element that was missing in this football team. When they needed those 3rd and 1s, more often than not, you would see Steve Young trying to make a play. 4:48 to go first quarter. 49ers already up 3-0, driving for more. 1st and 10 at the Seahawks 33-yard line. Kirby, nice acceleration through the hole. Kirby to the 26, a gain of about 9.
Mike, there's another difference in San Francisco's offense. We think of the West Coast offense as a split-back offense, fullback on one side, halfback on the other. Now they've gone to more of an I-back with Terry Kirby and Mark Edwards. There's Gogan over here, number 66. He's just going to fire away. The backs are going to come through right behind him. Little set, little turn. Give him an opportunity to run. That's the big thing. If you engage a defensive lineman, he's not going to be able to tackle the back with one arm.
Well, Gogan with about a 60-pound weight advantage over Matt LeBounty, the man he blocked on that play. Kirby again on 2nd and short. Nailed. And once again, Michael Barber, the 3rd-year man out of Clemson, makes a nice play. Barber, a kid that wasn't drafted. He played hurt at Clemson almost all the time. Did look very good on film, but they gave him a tryout and found they had a diamond in the rough. They'll bring the chains in to measure for a 1st down again, just inside the 24-yard line.
You know, Mike, when you sit down with Mooch, Steve Mariucci, you can just see the love and passion for the game in his eyes. I mean, he has such a love for what he's doing and the excitement of the game, every aspect of it. He talked about last Monday night against Denver. So what a great atmosphere it was. It was just great to be there and be a part of it.
Well, how would you like to get your first head coaching job in the NFL and it turns out to be the 49ers?
Well, I'll tell you, I'd rather have that one than a few others, to be honest with you.
And you usually don't start at or near the top.
That's
usually
right.
You start at the bottom.
I think it's so tough, too, but there's such a standard that's been set that you have to maintain it.
Young with good protection. Stokes couldn't hold it in the end zone. Sean Springs, the rookie, was covering, but it was a perfect throw and a very catchable ball.
Sean Springs had been out for the last 7 weeks, finally getting a chance to get back in the lineup after the broken hand. JJ does a nice job pushing out. Now, this is where Steve wants to throw him the ball. That's a catchable ball. That's exactly where JJ likes it, away from his body and high. Springs does a good job of getting in. JJ just can't quite hang on.
Well, I think he catches the ball unless Springs gets there to bust it up. 2nd and 10. Seattle comes with a blitz, and Kirby wrapped up by Adams as he got to the 22. Sam Adams remarkably quick in the middle of that line. And you don't get a lot of publicity in Seattle, even in the NFL, but Sam Adams is a guy that's going to be going to a lot of Pro Bowls.
Well, Mike, they really have. I think with Cortez Kennedy coming back next year, with Dan Saliamu in there, Sam Adams, Michael Sinclair, you've got 4 legitimate possible Pro Bowlers. Sinclair, of course, being one, Tez being one. I mean, this defense has got a very, very solid foundation up front. Adams voted as the first alternate at his position this year. 3rd and 9.
We've got a timeout with 2:33 to go in the quarter. We'll be back in a moment. Joe, you often hear about the 49er offense and the progression of the reads. Exactly what does that mean?
Well, what it means is we'll show you on our ESPN pre-play what it looks like. The quarterback, Steve Young, will go back, and what he'll do is he'll key number 20, the strong safety. And as Bellamy goes and jumps the fullback, then he realized the first read is to the receiver on a 10 or 12-yard hook. His next read is now, if Bellamy is back, he'll swing it out to Edwards in the flat. The third read is if the fullback is covered and the wide receiver is covered, he comes in to the tight end. It's a progression of 1, 2, 3, and that's about how quick he has to make those decisions.
And he does. 3rd and 9. Owezike and Harris are in as wide receivers in the slots. Comes the blitz. Young unloads, incomplete. Owezike had not turned around, and it will bring on the field goal unit again.
Mike, I got to believe that that's what Seattle is going to have to do. They're going to have to put pressure on the quarterback because they set so short. You want to have them get rid of it real quick.
Gary Anderson going for the record. He makes it 384 career, the most ever in the NFL. The South African who played in the first football game he ever saw. And sneaks it through the left upright. Congratulations to Gary Anderson. 384 career field goal.
What a record-setting Sunday. We had Barry Sanders get over 2,000. Congratulations to Barry.
Absolutely.
And that offensive line. And the Lions make it into the playoffs. And now Gary Anderson sets a record.
The all-time leaders in field goals, Anderson, now Lowry, demoted to 2nd place, and Morton Anderson close on the heels of both.
Look out for Mort.
Speaking of the Lions, our most sincere wishes go out to Reggie Brown and all the people that care about him. That was an ugly-looking thing that happened
Us
today.
included.
We just hope everything's going to be all right with Reggie Brown. College football this Friday at 8 Eastern, the inaugural Ford Motor City Bowl from Pontiac, Michigan. Speaking of the Lions, Randy Moss and the Thundering Herd of Marshall take on the Ole Miss Rebels from the SEC. And don't forget, it all begins a half hour earlier at 7:30 p.m. with Chris, Lee, and Kurt on the kickoff show. And if you have not seen Randy Moss, you will be seeing him in the NFL, and he will, even at this level, he will at times look like a man playing with boys. He is an unbelievable player. Broussard, who had the big return earlier, takes this one from the 6. Cuts it outside again, another nice job up to the 28-yard line. Tackle made by Tyrone Drakeford.
Now Seattle finally getting on the field again with their offense. They've run 3 plays so far in this quarter. There's the plays. 21 for the 49ers, 3 for the Seahawks.
Well, sometimes time of possession doesn't mean a lot. In this case, it does.
Well, yards either. I mean, Seattle's only down by 6. San Francisco has 120 yards. Dennis Erickson's guys have 0.
Cortez Kennedy seated with Dan Saliamu.
The Beef Brothers.
Warren behind Strong in the eye. Down the middle and just overthrown, intended for McKnight. Big play guy averaging nearly 19 yards a catch.
Mike, that is what Warren Moon has brought to this Seattle offense, a down-the-field passing game. With John Freeze, it was going to be a little more controlled in the beginning of the year. When Freeze got hurt, Warren stepped in and has really put the ball down the field.
After years of trying to develop guys like Kelly Stauffer, Dan McGuire, and Rick Meyer, and failing at every turn, they finally have a Hall of Fame quarterback, albeit at age 41. Short set by Moon, the quick out. He's got his completion to Joey Galloway. The rest of Warren Moon may be 41 years old, but the right arm isn't.
He looks in terrific shape, and having a chance to visit with him over the weekend here, he would really like to play next year, but he would really consider playing only if Dennis Erickson comes back. He doesn't want to go through another offense. He doesn't want to have to learn another system. And I tend to agree. I really think that Dennis and his guys deserve an opportunity to have a healthy Seahawk team compete.
And some folks here in the Kingdom have the same feeling. Third and short, Chris Warren showing a burst, cuts it outside, runs through a tackle, and has a first down. Chris Warren not happy with the lack of opportunities to run the football the last couple of years, but he has still been productive when given the chance.
Just takes this outside. Does a nice job of pressing the hole. You want to press where it's designed. Now you turn it outside. Just really outruns Ken Norton Jr. and then turns upfield. Averaging 4.1 yards a carry. An 8-year veteran out of Ferrum. And when Chuck Knox was here, said, you've never heard of this guy. Nobody has. Just wait till he gets a couple of years in the league to get his feet under it. And Chuck Knox certainly proved to be prophetic. Moon double clutch, throws incomplete to McKnight. Moon facing a terrific defense in this 49er unit. Comes in number 2 against the run, number 1 against the pass, number 1 total defense. Points allowed second in the NFL. And of course, that's probably the most important stat of all, points allowed. But they have been remarkable this year. John Marshall, the defensive coordinator, taking over this year, just letting his athletes play. 4-man rush. Moon to the outside, complete. Galloway just shy of the first down. Marquez Pope on the coverage. The only way throws such beautiful pass. And the only way he's able to throw it, Mike, is if he gets good protection up front. Pete Kendall, number 66, does a good job on Dana Stubblefield. Just stays square on him. Stubby looking like he wants to jump up and try and knock it down, but the ball's too far downfield. And Joey Galloway is a young receiver whose potential is unlimited. And we've seen a lot of guys who've had unlimited potential. And he has a chance to be somebody special. He's a Pro Bowl alternate as well. Out of the eye, Warren. First down. To the San Francisco 37-yard line. Marquez Pope in on the play again. Pete Kendall did a good job, we saw, on pass protection the last time. Now he's up against Dana Stubblefield again. And he's going to have Stubby over his nose. A little help from Walter Jones, number 71. Good double team. Drives Stubblefield off the ball. And Warren runs right up behind him. Chris Warren lost 5 yards on his first carry. Since then, he's got 23 on 3. There's Kendall out of Boston College. Moon with a pump fake. Goes to the end zone. Galloway! Touchdown! What a throw! Holy cow! What a throw! I hope he plays change 45. I think he could. He beat Darnell Walker. Just a remarkable touch on this thing. Gave Galloway time to make the double move and get under it. And Joey Galloway did a terrific job of not getting knocked out of bounds, staying in bounds so that he can go make the play. You don't want pass interference calls. You want touchdowns if you catch a guy out of position. That's Jim Mora Jr., the defensive backfield coach, talking to Brett Maxey. Moon has completed 3 passes. They've all been to Galloway for 54 yards. That was Warren's 22nd touchdown pass of the year. And Peterson for the point after. And the Seahawks, in the blink of an eye, have taken the lead 7-6. Good protection by the offensive line. Again, allows Joey Galloway to come out. It's a double move. He's going to little stop and go, little stutter. Now see how he stays in bounds? Even though he tries to get chucked, then he does a terrific job of concentrating and taking it in. Look at this thing. Watch this thing drop in. That's a little bit of a wobble, but hey, we're used to seeing so many tight, perfect passes from Warren Moon. There's another great one. And number 66, Pete Kendall staying with Dana Stubblefield. It ain't pretty, it ain't cute, but it's effective.
Gave him just enough time, and that's all that counts. That was a 37-yard touchdown pass, and why not? Right on his average in his career for touchdowns, either running, punt returns, or receptions. He's averaging 36.6 per touchdown. He'll talk about a big play guy.
He had 66 catches coming into tonight. He said of those 66 catches, he said, I'll bet you 50 of them are either hooks or goes. There was one of those goes.
Warren Moon can break the club record for passing yards tonight.
Pete Kendall doing a real good job on Dana Stubblefield. That is not an easy chore. He's up for it.
Stubblefield trying to get that one more sack, which would allow him to win the NFL race in that department. Levy goes a yard deep and will bring it out. Drop at the 21. Seattle special teams led by Reggie Rusk on that one. The Seahawks at the end of a quarter lead at 7-6. Sombrero will be rocking. Steve Young is finished for the night. They said he'd play about a quarter. He played exactly one quarter, and he will win his 6th NFL passing title in 7 years. It's 7 out of 12. Jeff Brom will come on to quarterback the ball club. Terry Kirby will get a carry out to about the 24-yard line where Michael Barber makes the tackle.
You know, Mike, people look at this game and say, okay, well, now the San Francisco 49ers will treat this like a preseason game. It's hard to do that because you're limited in your offensive linemen that are on the roster as well as defensive linemen. So you're going to have, Mariucci's going to have a lot of first-team guys still playing the entire football game.
Preseason guys, you'll have 80 on the roster. They don't have that luxury. Brom to Edwards. Barber gets a free ride out to the 36-yard line. Edwards a good fullback, the rookie out of Notre Dame. He only had 2 carries and 2 catches all year coming into this ball game, but he's 6 feet 236 and a very good straight-ahead runner. He showed you some power on that catch.
Had a terrific career at the University of Notre Dame. Dragged a lot of people into end zones for his touchdowns there.
Nice catch down to the 49-yard line. Stokes puts the hands out and snatches another one.
Michael, that's exactly what I'm talking about J.J. Stokes. He gives you such great range with his reaching ability, like a Chris Carter, like a Herman Moore, like a Jake Reed. You don't have to put it on the numbers to him. The throw's going to be down to the right part of your screen, lower right part. Watch him just reach out and snatch this thing high and away. What a great luxury for a quarterback to have someone with that kind of range to go up and get the ball.
He hired a confidence coach during the off-season. During training camp, he listened to upbeat music before practice. At night, he would watch inspirational movies. Kirby. Fumble. Seahawks have it. Williams with the recovery at the 37. Darrell Williams knocked it loose and made the recovery as well.
Terry Kirby doing a good job getting through the line. Once you break into the secondary, you don't know where these guys are going to be coming from. Does a nice job of cutting back, makes Sinclair miss. Running hard. And then once you get tied up, you got everybody stripping you. Something the Seahawk defense works very hard on. First guy hold them up, second and third guys in, go for the ball.
Darrell Williams, a sensational season at safety. So the Seahawks get it right back. Darrell Hobbs, number 18, comes in as a wide receiver. He's split to the bottom of the screen. And Moon whips another completion to midfield. Pritchard makes the grab. Tyrone Drakeford with the tackle. Warren Moon comes into this game needing only 226 yards to break Dave Craig's record.
Mike, Warren's not even having anybody near him as he sets to throw. Kevin Mawai, the center, 52. Pete Kendall, 66. Dana Stubblefield has got his work cut out for him tonight. They're just not leaving Stubby one-on-one much.
Williams with another big play, talking it over with his teammates on the sideline. We're in the second quarter. Seattle leads by a point. Warren on the toss. Blockers in front. 30 inside the 30, forced out of bounds by Merton Hanks. Joe, I've heard people say, well, I think Chris Warren doesn't have it anymore. The 2 runs he's had in this ball game, I don't see anything wrong with him at all.
Well, the last month or so, he's really run a lot better, the coaches have said. But number 38, Max Strong, does a terrific job of leading up into the hole. He knocks Pope literally out of the way. And you get an idea of the athletic ability of Chris Warren. And now, who said wide receivers can't block? That's where you get big runs. Look at this job on Ken Norton Jr. Not only does he block him, but he gets a pancake. Whoa!
That's
a
terrific.
little guy with a pancake.
That is terrific. 1st and 10. Moon with time down the middle. Just off the fingertips of Galloway. Darnell Walker beaten, and Moon put it right on the fingertips.
Joey Galloway has got a bad right toe, so he really can't accelerate like he wants to go after a ball. He has 3 or 4 more gears. He's just stuck in 3rd right now. Watch his throw, though. If he's got that 4th gear, he gets to accelerate. He just can't quite go to get it. Just out of his arms.
2nd and 10. Draw play, Warren, stutter step. Runs through 1 man, gets down to the 21-yard line. Chris Warren, even with limited carries, came into this game 13th in the AFC, and showing you he can still get it done.
And the guy number 66, Pete Kendall, again on Dana Stubblefield, gets a little help from Mawai. All you got to do is tie him up at the line. Well, I tell you, he has really done a good job of staying up on Dana Stubblefield and not allowing him the normal penetration we've seen over the past 15 weeks.
3rd and 3. Moon with a short set, just flips it to the end zone. Touchdown, Pritchard. Excuse me, McKnight. Another great throw by Warren Moon. Just a little flick of the wrist.
And that one was thrown over the outside shoulder. They're getting the one-on-one coverage they want. Dennis Erickson's all pumped. Good job by that offensive line. Watch where this thing lands, over the outside right shoulder. That is perfection. Throw it away from where the defender is so your guy can be the only one to make the play.
So Terry Kirby's fumble and the recovery by Seattle leads to the touchdown. The point after is good, 14-6. And in the first half, Warren Moon has already thrown 2 of his season's 23 touchdown passes. 14-6 Seahawks.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com. By the Mercedes-Benz M-Class, the first 4x4 that performs like a Mercedes. And by Courtyard by Marriott, the hotel designed by business travelers.
The Space Needle in Seattle. I'm not a big fan of heights, but I enjoyed going up in that several years ago.
Yeah, I know. You clung to the wall all the way.
Well, I enjoyed it anyway. Chuck Levy, the fastest man on the club. Cut down as he got to the 22. We talked about San Francisco not playing all of its starters tonight. Well, the Seattle Seahawks haven't had the advantage of playing all their starters all year long. They have had so many guys beaten up, starting with their all-pro tackle Cortez Kennedy. Graham misses 7. The House misses 6, along with Benny Blades. Springs, the rookie corner, was out for 6. Brian Blades, Rick Tootin, one of 3 punters. Lamar Smith, Walter Jones, a guy on there, Winston Moss, who had a serious neck injury. He's only going to miss a couple. So they have not had all their weapons, and another reason why most people think Dennis Erickson deserves another shot. Brom floats it for Edwards, just overthrown. And Winston Moss, they are most concerned about him because he has to wear one of those halos that is screwed into his skull for the next several weeks. And I'm with Winston Moss. You talk about screwing something into your body, I don't want any part of it.
Well, he'll be in that halo for about 10 weeks. And, of course, Cortez Kennedy out for the year. So many guys injured this year. That's why I think Dennis Erickson and his staff deserve an opportunity to go with a healthy roster, see what they can do.
Because there is talent on this football team. Kirby running with two hands over the ball that time. Got it up to the 24. Dean Wells, the middle linebacker, got it.
And Dean Wells really, he's somewhat new at the position of linebacker. Spent 5 years in college as a defensive end and a defensive tackle, and really was converted when he came to the pros. Doing a good job in the middle.
You see so many people try to do that. Take the smallest defensive lineman, make him a linebacker. He's one of the guys where it's worked. 3rd and 9 for Dennis Erickson and his defense. Chad Brown, the big free agent signing from Pittsburgh, has made a difference in this unit. Pressure on Brom. Fumble. The 49ers get it back, but Sinclair got the tackle.
Oh, what a move does Chad Brown put on Derek Deese, the left tackle. He works the edge. He starts up outside. Watch his spin move. Good hard plant. Swing him around. Clean shot at Brom. Sinclair coming from the offside. Sinclair against Scrafford. Scrafford wants to let him go around the edge, but you got to have somebody blocking on the other side if you're going to let him go around the edge.
Boy, Derek Deese most of the time does a really good job at tackle, but when he misses, he misses. Thompson to punt to Tyree Davis.
We got a chance! We got a chance!
Beautiful kick. Drives him back to the 38-yard line. Davis gives ground and is buried back at the 36. Mark Edwards leading the special teams downfield. 14-6 Seattle. Christmas in Seattle. For my money, just about the most beautiful downtown there is, especially at Christmas time. It is just gorgeous. It's Carmen Policy, who is now running the club as the 49ers president with the problems of Eddie DeBartolo.
Dwight Clark to his immediate right,
who's become the chief personnel guy for the ball club.
And I think a terrific job, to keep the team at the top. You look at the way other people have had troubles doing that. Dwight has done a fabulous job with this organization.
Draw play. Warren. Chris Warren. Well, if you think he's done, you better go tell him, because he doesn't believe it.
Well, what a great job the offensive line does. That time the 49ers want to bring a blitz, and all they do is shield off the blitzer, and he goes right up the middle. The blitz is going to come through here. You're going to see Chris Warren set and then just take it right out. Here comes the flashing blitzer up inside. Whoops. Hello. Goodbye. And then Merton Hanks, the last line of defense, has to run Chris Warren out of bounds.
7 carries, 74 yards for Chris Warren in the first half.
Dwight Clark to his immediate right,
who's become the chief personnel guy for the ball club.
And I think a terrific job, to keep the team at the top. You look at the way other people have had troubles doing that. Dwight has done a fabulous job with this organization.
Draw play. Warren. Chris Warren. Well, if you think he's done, you better go tell him, because he doesn't believe it.
Well, what a great job the offensive line does. That time the 49ers want to bring a blitz, and all they do is shield off the blitzer, and he goes right up the middle. The blitz is going to come through here. You're going to see Chris Warren set and then just take it right out. Here comes the flashing blitzer up inside. Whoops. Hello. Goodbye. And then Merton Hanks, the last line of defense, has to run Chris Warren out of bounds.
7 carries, 74 yards for Chris Warren in the first half. Moon, the quick out. completes this one to Daryl Hobbs, the former Raider, and he's taken out of bounds by Drakeford.
I don't think there's a more appropriate way to describe that pass, but other than a quick out, Mike, because it gets there so quickly, it allows the receiver to turn and make a play up the field. Now, Seattle Seahawks are #1 in the league in yards after the catch. A lot of it has to do with the ability of Warren Moon getting the ball to the receiver so quickly so they can turn and make plays.
2nd and a yard. Back to the NF formation. Smith is in as the tailback. He'll have the first down and a little bit more. Lamar out of Houston.
Hey, Chad Brown, Dan Salimua, Cortez Kane. Tez, you know what he's doing? Tez is finding the camera tonight. I'm convinced that we're just taking shots of the guys that are playing, and he's moving over there, looking at the red light. I'll tell you, Chad says enough airtime. Enough airtime. Tez, you take over. Look like he's making believe he's ignoring it.
Warren back in. The first 4 plays, nothing, and they've exploded in the last 14. Moon, good protection again. Touchdown! Mike Pritchard in the corner of the end zone. And another great throw from Warren Moon.
He beats Marquez Pope on that one. It's all happening because of pass protection, Mike. Number 71 this time, Walter Jones up against Chris Dolman. Dolman giving him a lot of head movements, but he knows he has help inside. Pete Kendall sets, gets one hand on Stubby, then picks up Dolman. Gets a 2 for that time. 2 blocks. Watch his catch. Warren puts this ball the only place he can to Pritchard, outside and behind him. You see more and more quarterbacks having the ability to throw that ball that way accurately.
Warren Moon has hit 5 of his last 6. 3 of them have been for touchdowns. And the Seahawks jumping all over the 49ers, 21-6. Biggest crowd of the season here in the Kingdome, the 3rd sellout of the year. Must have been a lot of 49ers fans as well as Christmas gifts here in Seattle because they have turned out more than 66,000 strong for this one. Levy from the 4. Dragged down at the 27-yard line, and that's Darryl Hardy, the linebacker, down to Ron Jaworski.
Thanks, Mike. The Seahawks have been very effective with their passing game because they've been blocking Dana Stubblefield. Pete Kendall had him one-on-one on the first touchdown pass that you'll see right here, and he steps right in and with a good punch move to hold him at the line of scrimmage. Now Dana tries to spin move, but Warren gets rid of the ball. Good job by Pete Kendall. Here's a double team with Maui and Kendall. Right out of the stance, they set. Punch, good punch to hold Stubblefield at the line of scrimmage. Moon gets rid of the football, and they're using quick drops to help get rid of the ball.
And that is the key for anybody. If you don't have the time, you can't complete it. Chuck Levy is in at running back. And he'll get a couple. Let's go back to Jaws.
Mike, here are the numbers on Dana Stubblefield. As you can see, the Seahawks are double teaming him. Of the 19 plays, they've doubled him 9 times. And there's a big number right there, 51 yards, and they've run the football at him over 10 yards per attempt. No quarterback pressures, hits, or sacks. And this is a guy that came into the game leading the league with 15 sacks. They've been pretty much dominating up until this point right now.
And Jaws, he needs only 1 more sack to win the NFL sack title. John Randall has 15 and a half after his game today. No interior lineman has ever won it. Brom steps up in the pocket and throws to the tight end, Chad Fan. And Fan fights for yardage very close to the first down mark.
A lot of times, Mike, you don't get points for style. All it is effectiveness. Jeff Brom does a real nice job of working himself in the pocket and putting this ball out to Chad Fan so that he can make the play for the first down. Was 10 of 14 coming into this game tonight. Not playing a whole lot, obviously. He's keeping that percentage up there, though. He was 71-4 coming in.
And you know he's an athlete. He was a center fielder in the Indians farm system while he was in college. Brom right through the hands of Terrell Owens that time. NFL Countdown, the playoff edition, every Saturday at 11:30 Eastern, Sunday at noon. Join Chris Berman and the gang for the best pregame show in the NFL. Then at 7:30, Prime time with all the highlights and analysis of the day's playoff action. Remember, both Saturday and Sunday on ESPN.
Noon on Sunday, a little time change for the crew.
2nd and 10 for the 49ers. Levy on the draw. Gets it out to the 40-yard line. There's a marker down on the play. Chad Brown made the tackle. And this will come back. Ed Hockley.
Holding by the offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Center Chris Dahlman.
You know, Mike, when they brought Chad Brown into this defense, they really wanted to upgrade the speed. They added Willie Williams on the corner, but Chad Brown has given them such incredible speed at the linebacker position. He gets blocked, he gets off of it real quick, he can chase plays down. We saw him pass rush before and create the sack and the fumble.
First couple of games were very tough for him. The scheme was very complicated. He said after the first 2, they went back to the basics, and things really worked out a lot better. 2nd and 20. 4 wide receivers, another flag.
That's Derek Deese, number 63, who's going to try and get out of the blocks real quick because he has Chad Brown on his nose.
There was no foul on the play. No play. There was not a false start. It was a legal snap. No play.
Then why'd you throw the flag, Ed?
Good question.
I mean, somebody saw something. That escapes me.
And it was Ed's flag.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw it, if you saw the guy move. Greg McMacken, defensive coordinator. His guys have done a great job. Yeah, I know Steve Young's out of there, but you're still running that San Francisco offense.
So 2nd and 20 all over again. Brom will run, and instead of sliding, dives forward as Bellamy nails him at the 32, along with Eric Stokes, number 37.
It's a good job by that secondary of the Seahawks. Fred Thomas up on Terrell Owens. Doing a good job with him on the line of scrimmage. What you want to do is upset the timing of this route. That's Sean Springs up on J.J. Stokes. You really want to take them out of their rhythm. This offense is geared on getting the ball out in rhythm to certain holes in your defense. If you cause them to be a step late or a step behind, it closes that hole down immensely.
3rd and 15. Comes the blitz. And Brown just throws it away. Jay Bellamy, the strong safety who has really come on after getting a chance to play. They had Benny Blades in there, but he got hurt.
I love this call by Greg McMacken, the defensive coordinator. Here comes Bellamy. He's going to come flying up and force Brom out. But heck, if you got 3rd and 15, oops, there he is. There he comes up the middle. You force him outside. That's the perfect thing to do. Make the quarterback get rid of the football. I like that call.
Thompson to punt. He is last in the NFC, an average 41-1. He'll be kicking to Tyree Davis, who's waiting back inside his 30.
Oh, Lord.
Low end over end, returnable kick. Davis with a seat. Got to the 45. A return of 12 after a punt of only 35. And again, Mark Edwards with the tackle for special teams.
Dave Arnold finally getting his special teams making some plays.
Seahawks 21-6. We talked about what a good job their offensive line has done. And, Joe, this is a pretty close-knit group that knows how to have some fun as well.
It is so close, Mike, that they created their own fine systems. For example, if one of the offensive linemen tells a bad joke, cost them $5. Late for a meeting, $5. Conduct unbecoming an offensive lineman. That means if you try and get too athletic, they fine you. Offsides in practice, offsides in games, offsides in the red zone. Now, Frank Beatty is the fine master, and Howard Ballard is the supreme judge in case you want to appeal a fine.
Which never works. And it costs you $50. End around. Galloway looks to throw. Uh-oh. Lost it. Got it back. Well, they might be ripping that sheet out of the playbook.
Well, I'll tell you, the play was a good idea, but you got to give a lot of credit to San Francisco's defense. They're just not going to buy it. Little fake pitch. Galloway comes around on the reverse, wants to throw it. But here he shows good judgment, at least not throwing it, but he doesn't protect the ball when he tries to run. And Chris Dolman showing good discipline. There isn't anybody near open for Galloway to make the throw.
That qualifies as a sack. It goes to Dolman. Now 4 wide receivers on 2nd and 25. Moon, screen, and it goes right through the hands of Chris Warren.
We were talking about the fines for the offensive line. Howard Ballard is the Supreme Court judge. Now, if you want to appeal a fine, you can sit down with Howard and discuss it with him. Keep in mind, no one has ever won an appeal on a fine, and there's a court cost of $50. Now, what do they do with that money? There's the fine master. What do they do with the money? Is they take it, and half of it will go to charity. The other half, all the offensive linemen will go out to eat. And you can imagine feeding those guys. How big a fine you have to have.
How much money are we talking about?
Thousands. We're really talking thousands of dollars.
Well, you're right. They'll need it for dinner. 3rd and 25. Incomplete, intended for Harris. A flag is down, or intended for Hobbs. Maybe on Tyrone Drakeford. So they bail him out of 3rd and 25.
Well, you know, Mike, with the way the officials are calling plays down the field, I think it's a great call. You throw it out.
Pass interference by the defense. Excuse me, number 22, automatic first down.
You just throw the ball and you let him make a call. Mariucci doesn't like it. You see him, you see him pulling his shirt ever so slightly. Just ever so slightly he pulls the shirt.
It's a 25-yard penalty.
And it's more than a snuggle right there.
And quite honestly, the 49er defense not looking very sharp tonight. This is not the way they want to go into the playoffs. Moon again. Galloway juggled it, made the catch. Nice hands, and he beat Marquez Pope, who was in great position.
Excellent concentration. This ball is bobbled, and he just focuses on. I want you to watch his eyes as he concentrates on this football. He comes out of his break. Marquez Pope doesn't bite. He breaks. And look at him keep his head up. Look at that. Look at him look at the ball. Just look at him focus on the ball to make the play. Just look at his eyes right there.
And Joey Galloway has gone over the 1,000-yard mark for the 2nd time in his career. It's 2nd and 2 after the gain of 8. Warren trying to cut it back, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Ken Norton Jr. will get credit for the first hit. Joe, you've been in this situation before where a team like the 49ers has nothing to play for in the last game. It's a little difficult for players really to get up for it. Is that why the offense looks so, or defense looks so bad?
No, Mike, not really. It's not that. It's that the coaches hold back a lot of the things that you might run normally, so you're running on a limited arsenal more than anything else.
They show blitz and come with it. Moon hit from behind and sacked.
That was one of those things in the arsenal that John Marshall decided to come with the defensive coordinator. As a matter of fact, what they did an awful lot against Denver with. They blitzed 26 times against Denver, which they hadn't done much of all year. Brett Maxey, number 25, is going to line up on the corner. You'll see in the lower part of your screen, he sneaks up, and here he comes around the corner. Really, San Francisco just has too many guys on that side of the offensive line for everybody to block.
Stark to punt to Owezike. Stark knocked the first one, a 46-yarder, into the end zone. Floats this one softly. They'll let it bounce, and this as well will kick into the end zone upon a 42. But again, a net of only 22 yards. Hope you'll be with ESPN Wednesday, Christmas Eve night, 8:30 Eastern for the Best of Sports Center. We'll take a look back at the names, the games, and the top sports stories of the year in a 90-minute special. The Best of Sports Center, Wednesday night at 8:30.
Well, Michael, I am not a fan of the pooch punt. I think that it hurts the offense and the defense, really, because the pooch punt is one where you're taking a chance of trying to drop it inside. Just kick it out of bounds. And there's Rick Tootin, one of the punters that the Seahawks have had to use this year. I would just teach them to start to kick to the corners. The heck with the pooch punt.
Yeah, whatever happened to the coffin corner kick? That used to be an art. Brom on the screen to Edwards. Picks up about 7, and Barber takes him down along with Saliamua. And we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Seattle. The Seahawks with a first-half explosion of 21 points, and they have the lead. Seahawks with a 21-6 lead over the 49ers. Coming up at halftime, Chris Berman with the fastest 3 minutes in television. All the highlights. We'll have an update on Lions linebacker Reggie Brown. In case you missed it, he was taken off the field unconscious after a hit. His vital signs were fine. Taken to a hospital, and Chris will have an update on his condition. And Barry Sanders, of course, over that remarkable 2,000-yard barrier today. So happy for Barry Sanders. The Lions getting into the playoffs. He's got to be really happy for Bobby Ross, too. He has made a big difference in that ball club. 2nd and 4 for Brom, who is on for Young. Was it intended for Edwards and caught by Fan, or originally intended by Fan? They were both there.
Sometimes you're better off being lucky than good. Brom's acting like it was thrown to Edwards. I personally think it was thrown to Edwards, and Fan just happened to be standing behind him.
Brom under pressure down the middle, and Owens couldn't hold it. Big hits again. Willie Williams, the corner, and Darrell Williams, the safety.
We talked about the job that these guys are going to have to do on these wide receivers. Willie Williams times his hit perfect. Terrell goes up. Instead of trying to make a play, he just takes his legs out from underneath him. Terrell Owens has made a big difference as well in this offense, Mike. Boy, that's one tough cookie right there.
And Derek Deese has just limped off for the 49ers, the starting left tackle. The last thing the 49ers want was an injury out of the ball. Here comes the blitz. Edwards on the draw. Saliamua makes the tackle at the 47-yard line. Frank Pollock, number 75, is committed the left tackle spot for Derek Deese, who limped off. Brom to Edwards in the flat. And Edwards forced out of bounds at the 46, shy of a first down by Thomas.
I think this is an interesting call now for Steve Mariucci. You know, do you punt it and just put your special teams out there, or do you go for it? He's already made the decision just to punt it.
4th down, 3 yards to go.
Thompson will come on 4th and 3 with only 1:13 to go in the half. Davis drops back inside his 10.
Okay, I'm out of here. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Seattle gave him a big rush and nearly got there. Davis lets it hit, and the 49ers will down at the 1. There's a marker down after a 44-yard kick by Thompson.
Wait, Jay Bellamy, number 20, almost got a hand on that one.
They'll call an illegal touch. Usually that means the guy who got downfield to stop it was forced out of bounds and can't be the first guy back in to touch it.
Having been a former headhunter, it is not easy to get downfield when two guys are trying to run your life out of the stadium. Dave Arnold, the special teams coach.
A member of the kicking team, number 38, was out of bounds and then came back in and was the first player to touch the punt, which is an illegal touching foul. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Darnell Walker.
George Stewart, what a terrific job. They changed his title from coach to coordinator. Right out here, top of the screen, there he is right there. He's gonna release down the field, right? You think it's that simple, only one guy on you? I don't think so. Now he gets run out of bounds. There he is right there, he's out of bounds. Can't come back. You cannot be the first person to make a play on the ball after you have come from out of bounds back inbounds.
Good job by the officials to track his progress downfield.
Good job to find him once he goes out of bounds.
You said you were a former headhunter. How many
I have no
heads
heads.
did you come up with?
I have no heads
No?
hanging on my
Wondered
my
if you had a
staff.
little bag of them somewhere.
No, I never got close, actually. I just had the title. I was like a headhunter by title.
Well, we appreciate the effort.
It was great.
We'll do it all over again. No pressure this time, and Thompson hangs it very high. Davis, no fair catch. And got out to the 20 where he was leveled by Frankie Smith. There's another marker now. 12-yard return after a 43-yard punt.
Well, both these special teams are doing a good job. This one's going to be a hold against Seattle.
And one of the few special teams mistakes they've made tonight after a tough year.
During the kick, holding by the receiving team number 27. The penalty's enforced from the end of the kick, half the distance to the goal. Seattle keeps the ball, first down.
That's the corner, Willie Williams.
That's Stokes and Walker out there. There's Williams, number 27. Stokes has got, take your pick. See, you know, I told you how hard it is being ahead. Look at that. Both of them jump on him. Not one, both of them. They get the pin. 1, 2, 3, you're down.
Dana Stubblefield still looking for that elusive sack. Kevin Green trying to get a couple tonight to break Lawrence Taylor's all-time linebacker record. And neither have been close. Moon to Warren. Stumbles and goes down. Patriots and the Dolphins will play for the AFC East title tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on ABC's Monday Night Football. The winner clinches the division championship. They'll host the loser next Sunday in a wild card game. The Jets were part of that mix, but they were eliminated this afternoon.
Yeah, they really got hosed, to be honest with you, on a call there on an interception in the end zone late in the game. It was a terrible call that gave Detroit possession and an opportunity to sew it up.
It was brutal. Another draw to Warren. Another nice stutter step. Chris Warren has run beautifully tonight, this time up to about the 12, and they'll let the clock wind down. 82 yards on the ground for Chris Warren. Steve Young played the first quarter. His team is down at the end of the first half, 21-6. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Acura halftime report.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So, a surprise of sorts, although the Niners have different reasons to play than the Seahawks, but not the way they kind of want to end the regular season. A lot of teams wanted to extend their season in Week 17, which is the equivalent of the 12th day of Christmas, and my true love gave to me an unfoggied playoff picture, because that's what we had, especially in the NFC, where all the two teams knew they had to win to get in. A third team, the Redskins, knew if they won, they might get in. Here we go to Washington against Philadelphia. He's beaten them 9 out of the last 10. Bobby Hoying, oh no, you got to hand it to Darryl Green. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown for the Pro Bowler, 83 yards on the interception. Skins have a big lead. Eagles clawed back, but Jeff Hostetler to Michael Westbrook. The Skins stay alive, beating Eagles 35-32. Colts and Vikings. Vikings win their end. Like their Philadelphia days, Randall Cunningham to Chris Carter. What a great catch. Touchdown. Second quarter, Randall Cunningham to Chris Carter. All he does is catch touchdowns. 17-10 Vikings over the Colts. Then Cunningham again to Chris Carter. He's fourth all-time with touchdowns receiving with 89 as the Vikings go to the playoffs, win 39-28. Giants, Cowboys playing for pride. Giants playing the way they have all year. Danny Erie Canal to Chris Callaway. Rodney Hampton, team record, 49 career rushing touchdowns. Giants over Dallas 20-7. Dallas loses 5 in a row. Carl the Truth Williams, the final regular season game of the Big Sombrero for Tampa Bay. Look at the moves. Look at the spins against the Bears. Look at him go. Could go all the way. The Bucs go all the way to a playoff home game. Beat the Bears 31-15. Chargers, Broncos. San Diego had a 3-0 lead, but not for long. John Elway to Ron Smith, touchdown. They hooked up twice. Elway, 4 TDs on the day. Shannon Sharp, real good coverage. 68 yards. Rodney Harrison tries, not going to get him. Broncos roll 38-3. They're home next week. Jaguars and the Raiders. Tim Brown passes Fred Biletnikoff, #1 receiver all time in Raider history. Brown had a great year. The Raiders did not. Mark Brunell, Damon Jones, real good coverage. Raiders bottom out at 4-12. Jags win 20-9. Steelers, Oilers, biggest crowd of the year at Tennessee. Rodney Thomas on a 3rd and 16. Touchdown, Tennessee with the lead. Steve McNair, part quarterback, part Earl Campbell. Ran for close to 100 yards today. Luck let him go for 47 yards. Oilers finish at 8-8. Beat the Steelers 16-6. But Steelers are still the #2 seed. Playoff information coming up. Saints, Chiefs. Tamarick Vanover, several times this year, has changed the course of the game. Look at the angle he takes against the Saints at the 50. New Orleans tries to get him. Whoop! Whoop! No, the Chiefs win it. They're 13-3. They win 25-13. Falcons, Cardinals, Atlanta trying to finish at 500. Jake the Snake Plummer gets a pass interference call on Frank Sanders. Coverage too good. Then 4th and 1 from the Atlanta 6. Plummer, quarterback sneak down to the 2. Seconds. Tick. Plummer. Larry Self centers. Arizona wins 29-26. They don't get the first draft pick. Colts do. Ravens, Bengals. Boomer to Marco Battaglia. Touchdown, 8 yards. Boomer to Darnay Scott. Real good coverage. 77 yards. Bengals beat the Ravens 16-14.
This halftime report is presented by Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
If history, a day of decision. Lions, Jets, winner in the playoffs. Could Barry get to 2,000? And scary points as well. It had it all at the Silverdome. We'll have it all next.
You can't back out now. We've been planning this for so long. Meet me. Promise?
It's classic style and a 200 horsepower VTEC engine that moves you like an emotion.
I knew you'd come.
Tuna sandwiches. Your mother doesn't think we'll catch anything.
It's the CL from Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
I'm Gary Plummer of the San Francisco 49ers. My job is to tackle the runner with the ball. It takes toughness, durability, and teamwork. It was teamwork that earned me this Super Bowl ring. Working together, that's what wins in the NFL. And it wins in the community too. And that's what the 49ers and players like me are doing here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We're part of the NFL United Way team, making available the opportunity for those students who are at risk to receive an education. Programs like Communities in Schools and our 49ers Academy. This is just one way in which the United Way is getting the job done, by bringing together all of our community's resources to solve the tough problems we all face in building better communities. But this is the real reason that I'm part of the NFL United Way team. This is my family. The NFL, the United Way, and you, the power of teamwork.
Welcome back to the Acura Halftime Report with your host, Chris Berman.
21-6 Seattle at the half. Well, if the Jets won at Detroit, they'd make the playoffs after a 1-win season. If Detroit beat the Jets at the Silverdome, they'd make the playoffs in a season in which perhaps Barry Sanders could get to 2,000 yards. A mini playoff game at the Silverdome. Here we go. First quarter, Neil O'Donnell and the Jets offense looked very strong. Adrian Moreau with the pitch and the touchdown, 10-0 Jets. Meanwhile, Jets defense hemmed Barry Sanders in for only 20 yards and 8 carries in the first half. With the Jets leading, continuing, Barry Sanders hits the hole, goes 7. Here he makes a big run down to the 17-yard line. That sets up 16-yard run. And all of a sudden, it's 13-10 Detroit. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 8. Neil O'Donnell to Wayne Krebet. Down to the 9. Jets trail by 3, but on the next play, trickery backfires. The youngster, Leon Johnson, throws it. Bryant Westbrook, disputed interception. Did he have it? They'll dispute it forever, but the call goes Detroit. Lions take over up 13-10. 2 yards, but a historic 2 yards. Barry, the third man ever to get to 2,000 yards, joining Eric Dickerson and O.J. Simpson. On the next carry, Barry Sanders makes the move. 53 yards to ice the game. The line carries him off the field. The Lions get carried into the playoffs. And the Lions beat the Jets 13-10. Barry Sanders, 184 yards, obviously 164 of those in the second half. So for Barry Sanders, 2,053 yards. Only Eric Dickerson's 2,105 is more. 11 rushing touchdowns. By the way, he caught 3 more TDs this year. And he finishes the last 14 games of the season with 100-yard games. Well, that's all the merriment. There was something that took even larger proportions in the second half as second-year linebacker, one of the first-round picks of a year ago, Reggie Brown from Detroit, lay motionless on the field. And this is what happened as he tries to tackle Adrian Morrell. Brown's head snaps back into his neck. The players frantically waving, the physicians and the ambulance on the field immediately huddling, praying, crying. Later taken off the field with an ambulance. Robert Porcher afterwards talked about it.
2 plays before that where the referee the referee had to stop the play because the crowd was so loud, and we were in the huddle saying, man, could you feel the dome? I mean, we could feel the AstroTurf vibrating under our feet. It was so loud in there. And in a split second, it went from that to this man could possibly die.
Well, that was the feeling in a very, very quiet Silverdome. But the Lions have just given us the updated news, and it's good news. Brown appears to have suffered a contusion to his cervical spine. The CAT scan, though, did not reveal any fracture. He is conscious. His vital signs are stable, and he has motor functions and sensation in all 4 extremities, which is great news. And says the team physician, we are encouraged by the results of the CAT scan. There are other tests still going on. They'll have more on it tomorrow, but at least the news pretty good tonight compared to what we just saw on the field. And, of course, our hopes and prayers are with Brown, and so everybody around America feels that way for sure. Well, the first round of the playoffs are now set. And here's what we have on the opening weekend. These are both ABC games. Vikings at the Giants. Dennis Green makes the playoffs again, but he's never won a playoff game in 4 tries. Jacksonville at Denver is the late game. They return to the scene of the crime where they beat the Broncos 30-27 last year in a big game by Brunell and Means. Early game on Sunday. The winner of the Monday night game will host this game. The loser will go on the road. But it's Monday night and again on Sunday, Patriots-Dolphins. Lions at Bucks. They split wins this year, each winning on the other guy's field. And Niners, Packers, Chiefs, Steelers, they will get a week off and swing into action January 3rd and 4th. Seattle swinging into action tonight. They're looking up to beat the San Francisco 49ers. They lead it at halftime, 21-6, back to the Kingdome in the home.
This halftime report is presented by Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
Warren Moon with 3 first-half touchdown passes here in Seattle. This one to Joey Galloway, as Seattle has broken on top 21-6 over the San Francisco 49ers. Back after this. This season marks the 25th anniversary of NFL Charities. NFL Charities was established so that NFL clubs could collectively make grants to national nonprofit organizations in the areas of education, youth football development, physical fitness, and sports-related medical research. This year, NFL Charities will award grants totaling more than $5.5 million to more than 150 nonprofit agencies. Tommy Thompson teeing it up at the 30, and Steve Broussard deep for the Seattle Seahawks on top 21-6 here in the closing game of their year. The 49ers, of course, with home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Broussard from the 5. Across the 25, there's a marker down. Darnell Walker with a special teams tackle for San Francisco. And this one will put the Seahawks in a hole again. First half stats, and the Seattle Seahawks with 88 yards rushing, and that's more than the 49ers have allowed on an average per game by 5 yards. Chris Warren with an exceptional first half.
And a lot of it's been set up by the ability of Warren Moon to be able to hit the long pass and loosen up that secondary of the 49ers.
They'll start from the 15. Warren, the deep man in the eye. And Chris Warren will get the first carry. Stood up at the line of scrimmage and dumped at the 15. Roy Barker, the left defensive end. Dolman has been quiet, so has Stubblefield inside. The two sack masters for this ball club have been shut out so far.
As well as Kevin Green. You know, that entire front of the San Francisco 49ers has not been able to put pressure on Warren Moon.
Ken Norton Jr. opening the second half on the sideline. Moon floats it to Warren in the flat. Marquez Pope with a solid tackle at the 15.
How much respect do the Seahawks have for Dana Stubblefield? We're going to watch everybody gets a shot right here, and Jonesy's going to come around. They're going to all block Stubby. They're just not going to give him a chance to get anywhere near Warren. There you go. Dolman winds up coming inside. They are not letting Stubblefield off the line of scrimmage.
You know, when they're paying that much attention to one guy, you usually free somebody else up, but it hasn't worked that way.
Could create an opportunity for Kevin Green.
3rd and 5. Moon to Pritchard. First down across the 37-yard line. Darnell Walker was covering Pritchard, but a couple of steps off of him. It's a gain of 20.
These balls are thrown so perfectly, the defenders don't have a chance to make a play on it. As Pritchard comes out of his break, the ball is right there in the air, and Walker just doesn't stand a chance, even though he's trailing Pritchard fairly close.
10 out of 15, 147 yards and 3 scores for the ageless Warren Moon. Warren on the toss. And waiting for him, James Williams. 7-year veteran from Mississippi State.
Mike, from a philosophical standpoint, San Francisco just is not bringing a lot of secondary people or linebackers. They're playing really vanilla defense. And that's not to take away from the fact that Seattle on offense has done a very good job executing and throwing the football against the corners. But they're just not getting a lot of pressure on Warren. John Marshall, the defensive coordinator, choosing to play it a little more close to the vest as they get a week off to get ready for the play.
2nd and 8. Moon flat-footed overthrows, nearly intercepted by Zach Bronson. Stubblefield, all he can do is shake his head. He's on the sideline. 15 sacks, second in the NFL. Only 1/2 off the lead, and an interior lineman has never won the NFL sack title.
What an incredible jump from last year when he only had 1 sack.
And 30 tackles. 3rd and 7. And Moon sacked by Kevin Green. And that puts Kevin Green within 1/2 of Lawrence Taylor's all-time record for linebackers.
And Michael, it is important to him. I talked to Kevin before the game, and he said, I really want to get these 2 sacks. I want to be the one that people talk about as the sack master. Well, it's pretty easy to get a sack when nobody blocks you. But hey, Kevin, take it any way you can get it.
132 for his career. Stark will punt to Awezike. Awezike fumbles the football. No signal as yet from the officials. And San Francisco will keep it.
But Ronnie Harris, number 81, does a terrific job of making a play.
We've got a timeout, 11:47 to go, third quarter.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Holiday Inn Hotels. We're making every Holiday Inn as good as the best Holiday Inn. By Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. And by Corona Beer. Change your latitude with Corona and Corona Light.
Seattle, Washington, we're in the Kingdome, where the Seahawks have a 21-6 lead over the 49ers. And San Francisco will send out its third quarterback. This is first-round draft choice, the rookie Jim Druckenmiller, who gives to Chuck Levy. And a flag down at the end of the play as Levy got it out to the 22. And this one will cost the 49ers.
Holding by the offense, number 63. Half the distance to the goal, repeat first down.
It's Derek Deese who is back in at left tackle. First round draft choice out of Virginia Tech. The first one taken in the first round since they chose Steve Spurrier all the way back in 1967. Druckenmiller has thrown only 41 passes this year, completed 16.
One touchdown pass.
Jesse Sapolo was checked in at center for San Francisco. Druckenmiller, the quick pass, got it out to Stokes, and Stokes is buried as soon as he caught it by Sean Springs.
Mike, Jesse Sapolo is an unbelievable story. Here's a guy that has heart surgery, comes back, and is playing football. I mean, it's just phenomenal what he's managed to accomplish. The 49ers needed him. He said, give me a chance to come back. I'm okay. And here he is, back in the lineup. Two-time Pro Bowl selection back in '93 and '94 in his youth.
Replaced a leaky heart valve, and here he is back in the NFL. 2nd and 15. Here comes the blitz. Levy gets it out to the 17-yard line. Dean Wells, who was blitzing, then backed off and made a tackle. Druckenmiller, they made the decision to keep Steve Young and draft Druckenmiller as the heir apparent.
I don't, you know, Mike, Druckenmiller is the guy that can come in and run this offense, but does not possess near the athletic ability of a Steve Young. And I think that's vitally important for a quarterback. I think he'll develop into that in time. But this is a great way for him to get some education.
Another blitz, 3rd and 12. Over the middle to Fan. Nice throw, nice catch, first down, 49ers.
And when you can stand tall in the pocket like that, you don't need to move around. Dwight Clark, the director of football operations, likes what he sees out of this young man. Didn't get a chance to play much this year, only when Young got hurt. Of course, we talked about Chad Fan. He is the only tight end right now since Brent Jones went out of the game early with a concussion.
Well, with the ground game, Levy with that great speed gets to the 43-yard line. Levy was a guy who partied himself out of the NFL. Banned for a year, signed with the 49ers out of a health club in Phoenix.
You know what he does, Mike, here? He's very decisive. As he comes across the formation, he sees the hole, he turns up, and look at him square up his shoulders as he heads upfield. Not a lot of dancing in the hole, but a great burst through it.
Levy was also playing a little football, a recreational flag football league. But he was tough in that.
I bet you didn't get a lot of shots at those flags.
Druckenmiller with a pump fake, then goes deep for Owens. Terrell Owens down to the 10-yard line. And decks the official in the process.
Two things
as well as Willie Williams.
Mike, two things happen there. Good job by the offensive line, because any time when you go to a pump, you need a little extra time, and the ball is thrown in an ideal situation outside. Here comes the route. Little, again, quick post and go. Willie Williams bites. Now watch where the ball is thrown. Outside away, and does a smart thing. He makes the catch first. There's the pump. He sells it completely. resets, reloads. And I always think that's one of the toughest throws to make in football. When a guy is wide open running, you just want to make it so perfect. That time he did a nice fluid job of getting it out there.
And Willie Williams looked like he was hurt even before he hit the ground. He was grabbing his left shoulder, his collarbone area. He was the other free agent signing from Pittsburgh, a guy with 4.3 speed who they think has a great future. We'll check on his condition when we come back. 8:39 to go, third quarter. The 49ers able to play guys like Druckenmiller tonight because they have already sewn up home field advantage for the playoffs, something Steve Mariucci very familiar with.
Yeah, he is. When he was up in Green Bay last year, it was great to have everybody come up there and play. Now they get a chance to play him at home. A lot of it has to do with the fact that you don't have to travel all the time. You don't have to sleep in a hotel. It's a more comfortable environment for you to prepare in. And, of course, the weather is a big factor psychologically.
And just the absence of Lambeau Field's pretty good. Levy lowers his head. Stacked up at the 10. Home field advantage. Since they invented the Super Bowl, it's 55% for both AFC and NFC teams. In recent years, however, the home field advantage has become more and more important, especially with a team like Green Bay and the home field advantage they have enjoyed at Lambeau Field.
Well, I think getting the bye also helps you out when you get a chance to have home field.
2nd and 8. Druckenmiller throws it in the flat to Levy. Nice job by Chad Brown to take him out of bounds. Steve Mariucci coached in Green Bay, of course, for 4 years. He better than anyone knows the meaning of not playing in Lambeau.
What you get when you go there is Old Man Winter is also on their side. And they're very good in the cold, and other teams usually aren't. So we don't have to deal with that. We get our crowd at our place, and that's huge.
Huge indeed.
The fact that he brings up the crowd, too, because it's so difficult to communicate in other places. In Kansas City, it's hard. Here in Seattle, you've seen how much problems the 49ers are having communicating.
3rd and 5. Druckenmiller on a roll. Has it batted down by Sinclair. Michael Sinclair couldn't get the sack, but he made the play anyway.
Michael Sinclair does a real good job of it's called staying home. You don't bite on the fake. The fake is away from him. He comes up the field. He recognizes it. Now, he not only makes a play on Edwards, but he waits till Druckenmiller's going to throw it to Edwards and knocks it back. That's just a good, disciplined job of playing defensive end.
So Anderson will come on. He's already hit from 33 and 40 and has the NFL record for career field goals. He'll try this one from 23 and right down the pipe. So the 49ers get their 3rd score of the night, all field goals, but Sinclair and the defense have done the job. I think this is the 3rd time we've been fortunate enough to be out in Seattle at the end of the season and for the Christmas season, the holidays. Beautiful downtown Seattle. Back in the Kingdome, Broussard waits and takes it at the 7. Straight up the middle, shaking tacklers to the 31. Now, how about an early playoff edition of the Spotlight and Ron Jaworski?
Well, thanks, Mike. We are looking ahead to the playoffs, and I'm certain the Green Bay Packers are as well. But if they're going to be effective in the playoffs, they've got to stop the run. That means Gilbert Brown has to be effective. Gilbert Brown can really get off the ball. You'll see him right here get under the pads of Glover. That's critical. Maintain that leverage and just bulldoze him right back into the quarterback. Gilbert Brown can also play the run. Here's the double team coming off the ball again. Look at the leverage. Look at the hands controlling Glover. Now he'll just throw him away with his upper body strength and make the tackle. A healthy Gilbert Brown will help the Packers, Mike.
Boy, Jaws, there is no comparison with him in there and him out of there. Lamar Smith is the tailback. Warren Moon, another strike. McKnight crosses midfield to the 48-yard line. Let's go back to Jaws.
Mike, the numbers on Gilbert Brown, games with him, The opponents only get 112 yards rushing. The games he has missed, 4 games, they've averaged 132 yards. And the sacks, when he's in the games, they get almost 3. Without Gilbert Brown, less than 2. This is a guy that's a real load in the middle, controls the line of scrimmage, not only in the running game, but he can get after the quarterback, Mike.
Jaws, I think we have to come up with a new term for him. Load doesn't quite do it. I mean, other guys are a load. Gilbert Brown, he's a couple of loads. Warren Moon unloads to Pritchard.
There's that load word again.
Yeah. Down to the 39-yard line. Warren Moon, 12 out of 18 tonight. He has been exceptionally sharp for 177 yards, and Pritchard has caught 5 for 85.
Bob Bukowski, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, has had a chance to have his father Zeke with him in training camp this past year. He said it was great to be around his dad for 5 weeks. You don't get to be around your father too long when you're in training camp as a coach.
Draw play, Smith trying to get outside. He's wrapped up by Bryant. Good ankle tackle.
With Dana Stubblefield on the bench, Junior Bryant staying in the game. That's the thing, Mike. Even if you wanted to rest guys at this stage, if you're the 49ers, you really can't, because you're limited in the amount of people you carry on the roster.
And it doesn't look like Stubblefield's going to get a chance to win that sack title. John Randall, with his effort today, 15.5 for the year. Stubblefield with 15. There's Ken Norton Jr. He's also pacing the sideline. Here comes the blitz. Broussard gets a carry and pushes out to the 41-yard line where Kevin Green made the stop. Green a little slow to get up.
This is one of those calls, Mike, where for Seattle, nothing at stake. May as well go for it on 4th down. Why not? The fans want it, you give them something.
It's 4th and about 1.5 yards. Smith and Strong are the backs. And Smith will try to get it on the ground and does. It's a good hard run. And Paul Allen, the chairman of the Seahawks, celebrating that first down. He's had some fun tonight.
Yeah, and Smith does a nice job here of keeping his feet moving. They'll head into the hole. Now watch him pick his feet up as he gets there. He keeps them up high. Keeps them up high, keeps them up high, manages to pick up the extra yards.
Seattle with a 21-9 lead and 3:50 to go third quarter. A first down at the 35. Warren Moon needs 226 yards to set the single-season club record. Currently held by David Craig. And Warren only needs 8 yards to break the all-time record held by Kurt Warner. Moon unloads. Galloway, touchdown! Warren Moon has now thrown 4 scoring passes tonight.
Oh, Michael, that's that extra gear that Joey Galloway has. He just pulls away. Another little pump and go. It's a hesitation, just a slight hesitation. Causes Marquez Pope to slow up, and he's just not going to catch him. Another perfectly thrown ball by Warren Moon. Little pump and hang it up. There's that perfect spiral. That's a Warren Moon pass.
Dennis Erickson said he has been in awe of Warren Moon since seeing him in training camp, and says if we protect him, he's throwing the ball as well as anybody in the game. And you can see he's had the protection tonight. He's thrown 4 touchdown passes and completing better than 2/3 on the night. The ageless Warren Moon has the Seahawks up big.
Visa presents Inside the Numbers.
Congratulations to Barry Sanders, a play after he became the 3rd man ever to run for 2,000 yards in one season. This 53-yard run cemented the Lions' run into the playoffs. 184 for the day gives him 2,053. Only Eric Dickerson in 1984 ever had more in 1 year, Mike.
And Boomer, what a class act. You couldn't be happier for a guy like Barry Sanders to be that nice a person and to have all that success on the field. It's a marvelous combination. Levy from the 10. Runs into his own blockers, then breaks out. Levy near the 40. 3:14 to go, third quarter. Seahawks up 28-9. One of the big offseason decisions the new owner of the Seahawks, Paul Allen, is going to have to make is, does he return Dennis Erickson as the head coach? Here are some of Erickson's thoughts.
There's no question in my mind. I think that I'll be back next year. Again, that's up to the new ownership, and we'll sit down at the end of the year and talk about where we're at and the direction that we're going to go in. And as soon as the season is over with, we'll have a chance to do that. And obviously, I'm not making the ultimate decision on that.
Dennis Erickson with a win tonight would be 8-8 on the year, considering all the injuries this ball club has had. That's not bad. And the Seahawks really loved the fact that Paul Allen bought this ball club and saved it from moving perhaps to California under Ken Behring. Of course, one of the roadblocks for the coaching staff is they want to hire a high-profile general manager. And very often, that new guy wants to pick his own coaching staff.
That's right. There's Bob Whitsitt, the Seahawk president, who's going to be charged with making some very tough decisions.
Druckenmiller, 2nd and 7 from his own 41. Sinclair got there again. Really applied the pressure from outside, and then Matt LaBounty helped out.
He goes right around Frank Pollock, number 75, Mike. Michael Sinclair just uses his quickness and his hands to make this happen. He's really a hands player. He loves to get his hands up. Watch what he does. They're up. Knock Pollard's out of the way. See him slap, little double slap, little arm rip, come around the corner. Druckenmiller really doesn't stand a chance. Pocket being pushed back in his face in the meantime.
Sinclair going to his 2nd Pro Bowl this year. 3rd and 15. Pressure again. Hit as he throws. Incomplete.
That time Chad Brown came around from the other side. I tell you, they can really bring some speed from the outside with Sinclair on one side, Chad Brown on the other. Up against Derek Deese again. Remember, he took the spin move hard inside. Now he spins. He takes him upfield and then comes back and collapses down inside.
So San Francisco, for the 4th time in the last 5 drives, will have to punt the ball away. Crowd has really enjoyed this one here tonight. The biggest crowd of the year for the Seahawks. Poor punt by Thompson. Davis can't even get over to it. And it takes the Seahawk bounce back across the 40. Punt of only 23 yards for Thompson. And now a marker down as there's pushing and shoving after the play.
Mark Harris, number 88, is going to get called for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Just adds to your special team woes when people make plays like that.
After the play was over, personal foul by the receiving team, number 88. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's Deems May, the veteran out of North Carolina. The NFL Wild Card Playoffs begin Saturday on ABC at noon Eastern. Coverage of Minnesota against the New York Giants. Joe and I will be in New York for that one. And then at 3:30, coverage of the AFC Wild Card game. Should be a good one. Jacksonville at Denver on ABC as we hit the Wild Card Weekend playoffs.
Minnesota coming up big to stop that end of the season skid out of the playoffs, and defense coming up with a lot of big plays today for him. I think Randall Cunningham is still trying to find his way back into playing, but he led him to a victory, and that's what counts.
Moon takes over from his 27-yard line. Fake the end around to Galloway, and now Moon has to scramble. throws on the run and hits his tight end, Christian Fourier. Only his 10th catch of the year. Warren Moon, we talked about Erickson coming back as the head coach next year. Will Warren Moon be back as the quarterback? And Joe, you said they were sort of intertwined.
Well, yeah, they are. I talked to Warren about it, and he said, listen, he said, I don't want to have to go through another system, a new system. He said, we feel like we really have the makings here to do something special if we can keep everybody healthy, and he thinks that this staff should stay.
2nd and a yard. Smith on the toss behind Strong. Has the first down, breaks a couple of tackles, and drags a pile of guys out to the 46-yard line. Of course, we asked Warren Moon a couple of days ago what he thinks his future is in Seattle.
When you get to my age, you take every game a little bit more seriously because you never know when it might be your last football game. I don't know what the plans are for Warren Moon in the future here in this organization, and I don't know if I want to play any more football after this season over. So this could realistically be my last football game as a professional. So I'm taking that attitude as far as this game is concerned, and I want to go out and play my best.
For anyone who has ever played any sport at any level and felt the back start to creak at a certain age, Warren Moon is our hero.
Absolutely.
Toss in the flat, or for those of you who have had your voice cracked.
That's right, absolutely. Twice. I think the thing that makes Warren so special is he keeps himself in such great shape. And, of course, John Kitna is the backup quarterback. Did a terrific job in the World League. Had an unbelievable preseason, and then you saw what he did last week against the Raiders in some terrible condition. Now, keep in mind, the Seahawks were down 21-3 at the half. Kitna led them back to a victory with a team that could have just said, hey, look, it's over, the heck with it. Let's go on and get ready for next year. But this football team didn't quit.
2nd and 8. Moon wanted to screen, but they cover it very well, and now does the smart thing and throws it into the ground. That's the end of the 3rd quarter here in Seattle. Seahawks on top, 28-9. A late intentional grounding call on the play as Warren Moon had a screen set up, but it was well covered by San Francisco. And he threw it away. It took about 15 seconds for the flag to come out. Let's go down to Ron Jaworski.
Thanks, Mike. Now, to be efficient in the passing game, your quarterback and wide receivers must be in sync. And certainly tonight, Warren Moon and Joey Galloway are. The touchdowns that they have gotten have been on identical mirrored routes. It's called a stutter go. You see Galloway come off the line, stutter. At the same time, Moon pumps, and he goes right by Walker for the touchdown. Now they switch Joey Galloway to the other side, the left side of Moon. There's the stutter right there at 10 to 12 yards. Warren pumps, and he goes down the field, touchdown. And here are the numbers on Joey Galloway. He's been thrown to 6 times. He has caught 5 of those for 96 yards, and we just saw 2 touchdowns. And Joey Galloway is going deep. He's run 22 routes, and 15 of them have been 10-plus yards. I had a chance to talk to Joey yesterday because he's been bothered by that sore toe, and he said, oh, I'm not sure how many routes I can run breaking to the outside and the inside, but I can sure go deep, and he's proving tonight he is a real deep threat, Mike.
Boy, isn't he ever. 5 out of 6, 2 touchdowns, 96 yards. That's not bad.
You know, Michael, he has incredible abilities, and in sitting down talking to Warren Moon about him, he said, you know, he's just got to learn how to practice, got to learn how to come in early, stay late, learn and continue to learn to do it in a professional manner. He said he really got spoiled working with Chris Carter and Jake Reed, and he thinks Joey Galloway can have that kind of abilities and impact in this league.
3rd and 19. Moon airs another one out. And that should be a flag, and it is. Marquez Pope was beaten, did not turn around and try to find the ball, and ran right into the receiver, James McKnight.
That's one of the rare times you're going to see Warren Moon not throw a real tight spiral. And the fact that it wasn't tight, the ball wouldn't carry far enough for him. That's why he's shaking his head and laughing.
Pass interference by the defense, number 23, automatic first down.
McKnight just goes down. Now he's trying to come back and make a play on the ball, and Marquez just pushes him out of the way. obvious pass interference call, and that's only because Warren underthrew somebody for a change.
And that's the second time tonight they have had 3rd and very long, and the 49ers have bailed them out with a penalty.
You know, but to their credit, when they've had 3rd and very long, they've thrown passes past the distance that they needed so that the receivers could either make a play on it or you wind up with a penalty call.
Set the clock to 14:53. 14:53.
Well, somehow we lost 42 seconds. They're trying to reset the stadium clock.
Bob Britkowski, offensive coordinator.
Tell you, they have some dangerous receivers with Galloway, Pritchard, and McKnight. Guys that can really go deep, and of course Warren Moon can still get it to him.
And I think probably the one element that this offense probably would be missing would be a tight end that has the ability to go down the middle, make some plays. Although Carlester Crumpler, who we haven't called tonight, has had 28 catches.
Another ball drilled in there to McKnight at the 21-yard line. Pope and Smith make the tackle, and Warren Moon has just set the single-season record for passing yards in Seattle, eclipsing the mark previously held by Dave Craig.
Mike, when you look at the numbers that these wide receivers put up, James McKnight's averaging almost 19 yards reception coming in. Joey Galloway's touchdowns, almost 37 yards a reception for touchdowns.
36-78. He also set the record for completions. Broussard gets to the 15-yard line. Jim Schwantz, the former Cowboy, made the tackle. If they keep this club together, they're going to make some noise. Dennis Harrison hoping he will have the chance to keep the club together. Moon rifles this one wide of Galloway. NFL Prime Monday tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico, Tom Jackson, and Sterling Sharp preview the huge Monday night game between the Patriots and the Dolphins. We'll have live reports from Pro Player Stadium. Chris Mortensen with the latest NFL news, and Leslie Visser goes backstage with Dolphin rookies Derek Rogers and Jason Taylor. Tomorrow night, Prime Monday. What a way to finish the regular season in the skyline of beautiful downtown Seattle, Washington. 2nd and 10. Moon looking for his 5th, and he's got it. Pritchard with the catch. And now they say he didn't hang on to it.
And they're going to talk about it just a little bit. He manages to get just the right foot down. And we're going to take a look at it and check and see. You'll see him get his right foot down. Now his butt hits.
I think his right hand hit out of bounds before the rest of him came down.
There it goes. The right foot is down, obviously nice and easy. The left, that's right, a good call by the official. The right hand hits out of bounds before the butt hits. A foot and a hand out and a butt down doesn't equal a touchdown. Figure that one out.
You say so. So it's 3rd and 10. Crowd really unhappy about it, and the play clock winding down. Warren Moon has to use a timeout. We'll be back to Seattle in a moment.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Office Max. We go to the max for you. By Isuzu, builders of the completely reinvented 1998 Isuzu Rodeo. Isuzu, go farther. And by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
We're in the great Northwest tonight. Merry Christmas to you and your family from all of us at ESPN. And it's a Merry Christmas Sunday night for the Seahawks.
You done with all your shopping?
No. 3rd down and 10 for the Seahawks. Kevin Green got the sack, and he's past Lawrence Taylor. 133 career sacks for Kevin Green. He is now number 4 all-time on the sack list.
That's a good job by that secondary of the 49ers. Kevin Green coming hard around the corner. Just a power rush on Atkins. Runs over him, gets Warren on the ground. The first thing he says to him is, "Can I have the ball?" He does. Warren hands him the ball, and off Kevin goes with the title.
They'll go for the field goal. And it's perfect from Todd Peterson. Kevin Green admits it. He says, "I'm a nutcake. If the enthusiasm rubs off on other people, that's great." Kevin Green with his second sack of the ball game. He has now recorded more sacks than any other linebacker in the history of the NFL. 4th all-time overall, and he just passed the legendary Lawrence Taylor. You don't think that's big for Kevin Green?
Talking to him before the game, it's huge for him. He really wanted this title.
He is as emotional a player as there has ever been in professional football. Levy from the 5. Gets it to the 27-yard line where Tyree Davis makes the tackle. J.J. Stokes is the leading receiver tonight for the San Francisco 49ers. 50 yards. And if he or someone else does not get 100, it would be the first time in the Super Bowl era that the 49ers did not have a receiver who had a single 100-yard game.
That's because Jerry Rice's been gone so long.
Well, he's played a long time, but he hasn't played since '66. Edwards on the sweep. Chad Brown waiting for him and drives him out of bounds at the 31. Edwards getting all the work tonight at fullback because William Floyd nursing a left knee sprain. The rookie out of Notre Dame.
You know, Mike, Mark Edwards fits in with the additions to the offense like a Ray Brown, like a Kevin Gogan, more of a power style. They have an opportunity possibly to get Garrison Hurst back maybe in a couple weeks, maybe a little bit after that. There's William Floyd on your left, Garrison Hurst on the right.
Hurst with a fractured collarbone. He's been out 5 weeks, and they hope he'll be ready for the playoffs. Levy on the sweep. Chuck Levy with that burst of speed into Seattle territory. Jesse Sapolu with a good block, and it's a gain of 24.
You get a real nice blend of backs with Levy and Kirby and Floyd when he's healthy. Mark Edwards as the fullback, big blocking guy, and of course Garrison Hurst. You've got a lot of different gauges of speed. Watch when he makes the turn. Come on around the corner. Again, squares the shoulders up. Good job by Jesse Sapolu, the ancient one, coming around and being the lead blocker.
But I've got a feel if they don't get Garrison Hurst back, that ground game is nowhere near what it was. Levy again. Boy, is he fast. To the 41. Springs is out there along with Wells. Levy 57 yards rushing on 7 carries tonight.
Thank you, fans, for your support of the Seahawks this season.
And John Kitna taking some snaps from Kevin Mawai on the sideline. Warren Moon may have finished his 1997 season with 4 touchdown passes. Perhaps a career, although we hope not. Druckenmiller had that one tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Owens can't get it. NFL Countdown, the playoff edition, every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, Sunday at noon. You can join Chris Berman and the gang, the best pregame show in the NFL, coming your way. Then at 7:30, prime time, all the highlights and analysis of the day's playoff action. And, of course, those playoffs will start Saturday at 12:30 from New York. And we'll be there for it.
We get to kick it off on ABC.
Sam Adams walking toward the locker room. Here comes the blitz. Druckenmiller had good protection and throws wide of Awazika. Coverage out there by Fred Thomas, the second-year man from Tennessee Martin.
Steve Young sharing his thoughts. Usually when you see a quarterback give that kind of hand sign, what he's indicating, he's got to put a little more air under it, get it out there, give him a chance to go make a play.
Tyree Davis waits at the 10. Thompson to punt. 11:24 to go in the ball game. Seattle in firm control. Floats this one high. Davis says get away from it, and the ball kicks out of bounds inside the 10. Kick of 33. Steve Young played 1 quarter tonight, waiting for the playoffs. Well, that's pretty inventive here. We wish you a Mariucci Christmas. It hasn't been tonight, but the season as a whole has been. 4 Rose Bowl tickets, 3 night stay, 2 double beds, and a Cougar upset. That's great.
We are in the Washington area.
Yes. And Washington State has waited a long time to go back to the Rose Bowl. Warren getting a chance to come back in the ball game, gets it out to the 8-yard line. John Kitna is the new quarterback, the World League hero, the MVP of the World Bowl. Oh, another reference to Ken Behring. They beat him, the Chargers, the Raiders, and tonight the 49ers. It's a sweep of California. Ken Behring was not the most popular man up here as the seasons dragged on.
Yeah, that's a grown man dressed like that with a little chain. All right.
Well, Santa deserves to dress this way.
He's lost a little weight, though.
Yes, he has.
One of those diets.
And John Kitna is walking toward the sideline. He wants to call a timeout.
Timeout, Seattle. It's our second charge. Team timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Some numbers out of the World League. 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Was the MVP of the World League championship game. Finished second in the league in the balloting and most valuable player.
And don't you think, Joe, the World League is becoming more and more important to the development of some guys? I mean, you can study all the film you want. You can do all the work and watching on the sideline that you want. But unless you get to play, you can't develop.
You're absolutely right, Mike. You just can't substitute having a chance to go out there with everybody running around in all kinds of weather conditions, asking to lead a football team coming back like Kitna did last week against the Raiders. And I think it's a very invaluable asset for the development of the young players, in particular the quarterbacks, who really wind up sitting most of the time through preseason and all through the regular season. They get nowhere.
2nd and 10. Kitna to throw over the middle. Lester Crumpler, the tight end, with his first catch out to the 16-yard line.
Michael, the thing I like about John Kitna is the way he does get rid of the football. When you talk to the coaches, Bob Rakowski and Dennis Erickson, they'll say he's an athlete, he moves around very well, he makes very quick decisions with the football, and he gets it out in a hurry. And that's exactly what you're looking for in an offensive quarterback.
Played at Central Washington. Really, the only reason they knew about him is because Dennis Erickson went to see his nephew play. James Christian was on the same team, and they got a look at it. Kitna play action goes to Pritchard, and Pritchard out to the 24-yard line. That could be a first down. You would think with all the scouting that's done in the NFL, all the countless numbers of dollars that are spent, you'd know about any player in any school, but they were the only ones who really worked him out, knew anything about him. They were going to draft him, but he just kept falling through the cracks, so they signed him as a free agent.
Well, I think also, too, Mike, you got to keep in mind, there's 30 teams. You're going to need 90 quarterbacks. 90 quarterbacks will wind up dressing on professional teams now.
Kitna, nice throw, great catch by Pritchard out to the 43.
Darnell Walker could not have been much closer to trying to make a play. Mike Pritchard does a good job at the line of scrimmage. That's where you win most routes. Now he makes a terrific play on the ball and decides to get on down. A good throw. I've been watching Warren Moon throw spirals. What a fingertip catch that was.
Kitna signed as a free agent, was on the practice squad of this ball club a year ago, got his chance for a first NFL start a week ago, and as Joe said, did a great job against the Raiders. An injured player for Seattle, it's the right guard, James Atkins.
Michael, and the thing about Kitna, I was very impressed with the way that he came back in bad weather. It wasn't a sunny day, it was a terrible day, and he came back.
Pritchard also slow to go off the field. And while we have the opportunity, we want to thank, this being our last ESPN telecast, I want to thank our producer, Fred Godelli, our director, Mark Payton, for the brilliant job they've done all year, and for the best and hardest working crew in all of television.
Nobody
really
better.
Appreciate it. Warren on the toss. And gang tackled as he got to the 42-yard line. Warren 83 yards rushing tonight. Hasn't had many opportunities in the second half. Joe, they've done a job against the San Francisco defense, and even though they have rested some of their starters, when they were in there, they were getting chewed up.
That's right. I mean, you look at the total yards, 346 to 240, passing yards, 235. But the impressive part of it is the rushing yards. And the only thing I will say that I've seen different in what San Francisco has done defensively is they've not committed as many people to the line of scrimmage to try and blitz and put pressure both on the stopping the run and passing. And I think that's going to change in the playoffs.
2nd and 11. Kitna unloads. Crumpler with another tackle. He's got a first down to the 43-yard line. Well, you got to like the way Kitna gets rid of the ball in a hurry.
But he sees things, and I think vision is very critical for a quarterback. You have to be able to see somebody coming and unload the football and know where you want to go with it. Very bright young man. Here he sees the blitz coming up outside, hits the tight end. Perfect.
And there aren't many young quarterbacks who see those things either.
No, and that's where the World League helps so much, Mike. And got to make Paul Allen very happy to see his football team performing this well.
Approaching the 7-minute mark in a game that Seattle has dominated. Kitna again, another short set, a quick pass and a completion. Got this one to Ronnie Harris, only his 4th catch of the season, as Seattle going with some of its youngsters here in the closing stages of the game. Of course, Steve Mariucci's main goal was to come in here tonight and not get anybody hurt.
You know, and they always talk about you want to play well at the end of the season. You want to get momentum going into the playoffs. That may apply to some people, like a Minnesota, like the Giants, I think it works for. But for a veteran team like the 49ers are, they know exactly what they're going to have to do and have the ability with the athletes to turn it up and get it done.
Warren. Nowhere to go this time. There's a marker down.
49ers are going to be offsides on this one.
Of course, the one thing we didn't get a chance to see tonight was Merton Hank's little dance, which I'm just as happy about because he scares me to death when he does that.
Well, my neck hurts all the time when he does that.
Well, I'm waiting for his head to fall.
That's that Big Bird dance. His kids get a kick out of it. He told me last week he started at 5 yards short of the end zone.
Offside by the defense, number 71. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Last week against Denver, when he ran the interception in for a touchdown, he started a little too early. He said that'll never happen again. Lost sight of where the goal line was.
When they moved him to free safety, they allowed him really to become a playmaker. 22 interceptions since he's been at that position. He was a heck of a corner as well.
The thing that I like about him so much is when he makes a decision to support the run, he's up in the heartbeat.
1st and 10, Seattle. Kitna, boy, does he look good. Crumpler just driving for extra yardage. He ran right over Brett Maxey.
You know, you shouldn't be surprised to see John Kitna have the ability to be able to complete passes like this. He went through the preseason and completed 82.5% of them. He's 6 for 6 tonight for 75 yards. Again, gets the ball out in a hurry. Defenders have a very difficult time getting their hands up to knock it away when you get the ball out that quick.
Crumpler, an enormous tight end, 6'6", 260. Another first down, Seattle. Warren has to cut back, runs into his own man, now tries to go the other way. Tough run by Chris Warren, got down to the 14-yard line. where Kevin Mitchell had to make the tackle.
Kevin Mitchell was projected to be the starting middle linebacker. Came in. They weren't real satisfied. All of a sudden, Gary Plummer winds up back in the middle. Gary Plummer doesn't really practice very much, Mike. They realize his age, the wear and tear after 12 years. Now Kevin Mitchell getting a chance to spell him, but he'll play every time the game starts.
Plummer's already been told that maybe 15 years from now he's going to need hip replacement surgery. The guy only in his mid-30s. Pressure on Kitna this time. He tried to unload as Barker was getting a sack, and they'll rule it down there. Lloyd Barker with pressure from the outside. And really one of the few times tonight they have applied pressure against that Seattle offensive line.
And it's one of the few times one of the offensive linemen has gotten beat inside. It's Grant Williams, number 79, is going to wind up getting beat inside by Barker. Just can't open the gates. Last couple games we've done, we've seen the big hits on the quarterbacks because the tackles have let them come inside.
3rd and 14. Kitna has Broussard in the flat. Makes the first man miss. Broussard inside the 10-yard line. Boy, and Jim Schwantz just threw a whiff at it.
We talked about the change-up ability of San Francisco's backs. When Steve Broussard goes in, he has that same kind of speed and acceleration to make people miss. This one's for the fans. 4th down and 4. Kitna's numbers.
Couldn't be much better. All he needs to top it off the touchdown pass. Here comes the blitz. Kitna unloads. Galloway with one hand. Ozzie Smith in the hole on a hard line drive.
Oh, what a catch. That's when you know it's going good. This is when it's going good. Watch Joey Galloway. It's thrown way back to his left. He reaches out with one hand, with the glove hand, and then catches it and brings it in. I think he's just going to be a real special talent. Whoa! Let me lay that out there and bring it on in.
Yes, sir. And 8s are wild for Kitna. 8 out of 8, 88 yards. Seattle calls timeout. Back in a moment. Here's the playoff picture in the AFC. Kansas City and Pittsburgh win their divisions. The other division winner, the AFC East, will be determined tomorrow night with New England and Miami. The winner gets the division. The loser is a wild card entry and will play at the site of the winner next Sunday in the first round of the playoffs. Denver and Jacksonville are both wild cards.
Very well done, Michael.
Was it?
Very well done.
I always wonder about that.
Well, it was perfect.
Chris Warren diving to the goal line. No signal. Inside the 1-yard line. Zach Bronson kept him out of the end zone.
We talked about this offensive line of the Seahawks doing a good job all night. Kevin Mawai, the center, number 52. Just a terrific job of driving, turning the guy away. It's Junior Bryant he's working against.
Now, that's the one thing I don't like. The umpire is standing right over it. He doesn't make the call. They wait for the 2 side judges to come in from 35 yards away, and I don't understand.
Heck, sometimes they don't make the call at all. I watched the game earlier this week, or last week. No, they didn't make the call.
Kitna, quarterback sneak. Touchdown. So John Kitna comes in and is perfect. That's why he's got the big smile.
Again, the offensive line just gets under the defensive line of the 49ers. You see that surge in the middle for John Kitna. A touchdown.
Pretty good 2 weeks in that young man's life.
Yeah.
Starts and wins last week against the Raiders. Comes in here in the fourth quarter. Is perfect on the drive. Gets the touchdown himself. Peterson for another point after. And the Seahawks are laying it on the 49ers. Let's go to Ron Jaworski. Jaws?
Thanks, Mike. As the regular season winds down, I've saved one spotlight, one special spotlight to really focus on a gentleman that has entertained us all year long, the incomparable Barry Sanders. This is a guy that does it all, and he's learned how to follow his fullback. You'll see 44 Vardell come into your picture right there, and Barry follows him to the left side. Vardell walls off the inside and gets Barry into the open field, and that's when he's at his best. Here, getting the ball deep in the backfield. Right here, the key to his success, vision. Which way is he going to go? He breaks to the right, sets up the block of Herman Moore. Down the field, sets the block of Boyd, and uses his speed to get in the end zone. And here's the most impressive part of what Barry Sanders has done. Look at those numbers. 2,053 yards, second most in NFL history. And a little footnote to that, the first 2 games, Barry had 53 yards. So in the last 14 games, he's had 2,000 yards and 3 80-yard touchdown runs. And you know, I've been trying to think of some astute comment to make, some real good football analogy to Barry Sanders' year. And guys, the only thing I can say is, wow, what a year and what a talent.
Jaws, that's a perfect comment because we've always just in awe of Barry Sanders.
I believe that if he was playing this year, if they had gone to two-hand touch, he'd have had 1,000. Because that's how many people were not able to get 2 hands on him.
38-9, Seattle. Levy this time from the 10. Trying to get outside. Across the 35-yard line. Your NASCAR fan, ESPN2 has a big Christmas gift for you. Beginning at 9 p.m. Wednesday, Christmas Eve night, we'll celebrate NASCAR's 50th anniversary with 27.5 hours of the all-time best ESPN Winston Cup races in their entirety. So if you don't remember who won, you get to watch them all over again. Bob Jenkins and Benny Parson host the NASCAR Marathon Wednesday night, beginning at 9 p.m. on the Deuce. You can stay up with the milk and cookies and wait for Santa Claus to come down the chimney. And Benny Parsons,
he'll come driving right down your chimney.
Right. Levy on the sweep to the 40. What a better combination could you have? Richard Petty and Santa Claus. Well, I think it's several.
Isn't Richard Petty Santa Claus, isn't he? Get around in a hurry in that sled, have that thing souped up. Talk about incomparables. Barry Sanders certainly with a great accomplishment. Warren Moon just playing at 41, I think, is a great accomplishment. And, of course, the 49ers going to go chase their 6th world title.
And with a home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they certainly have a shot at it.
That's a guy who just doesn't get enough credit for as good as he is. Steve Young has fought through an awful lot in San Francisco to gain respect, and his ability to play the position has been absolutely outstanding. We'll be back with the rest of this one in a minute.
Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne trying to come up with some last-second one-liners for SportsCenter. They'll bring you up to date on everything and hopefully a positive update on the Lions' Reggie Brown, who was injured today. Patrick Ewing, unfortunately, for the Knicks out for the year. Our Sunday night conversation with Steve Mariucci. That's followed by NFL Primetime at midnight Eastern. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Stuart Scott will wrap up the regular season's final weekend for you. Druckenmiller throwing in the Seattle 40, incomplete. Good coverage there by Willie Williams. Merry Christmas greeting from the Seagulls here in Seattle. They've had a fun night with their team winning 38-9. And really, even if you're not going to make the playoffs, I think 8-8 is so much better and gives you so much more of a positive feeling to the offseason than 7-9.
Well, you know, and you're playing a good football team. Dennis Erickson's ball club here is playing the San Francisco 49ers, who are going to the playoffs with a lot at stake in the playoffs, and are a good football team. So you get a sense of accomplishment when you beat them.
Druckenmiller under pressure, drops it off for Levy, who juggles and hangs on at the 45, where Eric Stokes made the tackle.
They're going to bring the chains out and take a look at this one. Michael, I think he's short by about 8 links of the chain.
I believe you're 1 for 2 this year, which is the best percentage you've ever had.
Yeah, but I got a 3-incher. That counts like 1.5, doesn't it?
Nope.
Okay. There's Warren and Tez saying, who's old? You're old. No. Cortez comes up and he says, Joe, I'd like you to do my football camp for me. He says, no, you can't do it. I said, wait a minute, you just asked me. He said, no, it's the same weekend of the draft. I said, no, I can't do it. He said, I told you that. Look at that, Mike.
Does that mean you're 2 for 3?
I'm even 2 for 2.
Just to give you some perspective on Warren Moon, he was the MVP of the 1978 Rose Bowl. In 1978, there were a lot of guys who are playing with him right now who weren't out of diapers yet.
See, people forget, I think to a degree, of all those years that he played in Canada with Edmonton.
Oh, absolutely.
Took him, what, 5 or 6 titles up there?
Clock running, under a minute and a half to go in the ball game. 4th and less than a yard. They'll go for it. Druckenmiller diving for the first down, and it will be close. Here's the bronze storyline from Seattle. Warren Moon with a couple of club records, 313 completions, 3,678 yards. He set that tonight with 232 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. The 49ers, 96 straight games with a touchdown. 2 games this year without one. Tonight would be the 3rd. Well, that's your Christmas gift, a shot on national television. These 2 clowns next on SportsCenter? I don't think so. Well, we could think of a Christmas gift for this guy. Maybe to cut down on his medication.
I'm surprised that jersey fits him.
It doesn't. 59 seconds to go. 1st and 10 for San Francisco. Druckenmiller up for grabs and knocked away. Intended for Mark Harris. There is a flag down, however. And Dennis Erickson just got cooled off on the sideline with a big smile as his club will go to 8-8. And hope for the future for Seattle and their head coach.
Mike, this really was a season of what-ifs for them. They hadn't hit that tailspin towards the latter third of the season. There's no telling where their future would be.
I mean, don't you hate guys with hair like Dennis Erickson? He just gets dosed with a bucket of Gatorade, and his looks better than mine.
Well, it's because there's more there.
Well,
I didn't want to say that, but there he is, just sort of standing around watching the ball go down. The guys always wait till something happens. I had no idea. Richard McKnight.
Well, they almost got his whole head in a bucket. They need to work on their technique. Paul Allen, the new owner.
Nobody's doing that to Paul.
Oh, no. Tipped and intercepted by Willie Williams. And they'll blow the play dead at the 32. So they turn it over with 48 seconds to go in the game. Our thanks to our statistician, Mark Fredrickson, our spotter, John Aronoff, for the great job they have done over the years as well as tonight. Thanks, fellas, and Merry Christmas. And Willie Williams with that 4.3 speed, the free agent from Pittsburgh. And Druckenmiller's night ends on a disappointing note. So now all the Seahawks have to worry about is to run out the clock. You've got to go back to the beginning of the year for Steve Mariucci when he lost Steve Young and Jerry Rice in the opening game. And at the ripe young age that he was getting the job, at 42 years old, he managed to keep everybody together, keep confidence in the new coaching staff, and he deserves an incredible amount of credit for.
And also, there's a lot of credit that goes to the veterans on that football team, because when they were flying back from Tampa, a lot of them came up to him and said, don't worry, we're going to be fine. So there's a tremendous amount of respect and admiration on both sides. I know tonight was a disappointment because anytime you line up, you want to win. But they do have an opportunity to look forward, and
it's Christmas.
There's your Christmas present right there.
That's the equivalent of gum on the cap in baseball, isn't it?
I think it is, yep.
Warren with the last carry, and we'll cross the 40 to the 41. Football comes loose and kicked around. I think they're going to rule it was down, and that's it. Our final score, 38-9, Seahawks. Coming up next, Sports Center, Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne. They'll update you on the Lions' Reggie Brown. Patrick Ewing out for the year after surgery. And our Sunday night conversation with 49er coach Steve Mariucci. Warren Moon in possibly his final NFL appearance. 4 touchdown passes tonight in Seattle's win. For Joe Theismann, Ron Jaworski, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night, everybody. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.